Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State's spring game is Saturday at the Shoe. It'll be a noon kick at Ohio Stadium. Join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey on the Fan tonight at 6 for a special spring game preview show. The Buckeyes will have one more spring practice before Saturday's festivities. In baseball last night, the Reds beat the Giants 8-3. Sal Stewart cranked a pair of 3-run home runs in the win. Redlegs are 11-7 on the season and can break out the brooms on the Giants with a win today in Cincinnati at 12:40. You can hear Reds baseball over on the Fan, too. That's 1460 on the AM dial. As for the Guardians, Cleveland dropped their series finale in St. Louis yesterday 5-3. Guardians begin a 4-game homestand with the Orioles tonight at 6:10. And in NHL news, Jackets head coach Rick Bonis told T-Bone and Tyvis his future with the franchise will be decided over the next few days. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the Voice with you for the next three. Reese is back from his holiday. I'd like to call it a holiday. I think English, they do that right, don't they? Holiday?
I don't know where the word vacation came from, but yeah.
Yeah, they do a nice job with it. Good to have you back, buddy. Emails at 10 o'clock, 10:30. Mr. Finebaum will drop by. We'll discuss the proposal of a 5-year age limit, which seems to be getting a little bit of momentum on the NCAA side of things. At 11:30, Porty will drop by to sum up what has been a crazy 48 hours or better on the Jackets side of things. Rick Bonis was on with the fellas this morning. Good job out of them. Good job out of him, too. He was under no obligation to do that. He can do that if he wants to, and he chose to, so that was great. I had a night. We had a bit of a night last night. So it's always chaos. Every night is chaos for us. You've got kids going in different directions. All of them have, Bootsy's in concussion protocol right now, so he doesn't have lacrosse, but the other two do. And sometimes we have AAU basketball that works into it. And last night, we had a big rivalry game of lacrosse for our high school program as well. So part of the program was all of the kids in the youth program were going to go to the game. And so they're either going to have truncated practices or canceled practices altogether. And in lieu of that, they were going to go to the game, which is really cool. Really program building experience. Great job of the high school to be able to do that. So while all of this is going on, and this is also part of the regular occurrence. And honestly, I think we should put this on the poll. Is the extreme spring weather worse now than it's ever been? Or are we just more aware of it? So what I mean by that is, when you were a kid growing up around here, were there crazy spring storms and you just didn't pay attention to it because you didn't get a notification every 6 minutes on your phone? And so, yeah, a thunderstorm rolled in. Okay, well, there's a thunderstorm. I'll watch Channel 10, see what's going on. Okay, if there's something emergency, they'll have the emergency stuff. But were you just less aware of it? Or has it gotten more extreme? Because our daily dance now is, will practice be canceled by either rain or lightning or tornado sometimes? Tornado warning, those type of things. The rule on lightning is, if you hear lightning, see lightning, hear lightning, I guess see lightning, hear thunder, you have to, whenever that happens, add 30 minutes to whatever you're going to do. I think that's an OHSAA rule. If you hear thunder, then you have to put 30 minutes on the clock, and it's 30 minutes from until then you hear another thunder, then it resets. So that's kind of the way that it goes. So last night was no different than any other night that we've had over the last 30 days, where thunderstorm warnings, severe thunderstorms, potential tornadoes, all of this. If you look, in fact, if you go to AccuWeather, which is the app that I use, or use 10TV, whatever app you want to use, you listen to Meredith, whoever's up there talking about it right now, they will say that the next 4 or 5 days are littered with this. And the previous 10 days have been littered with this. It's been extreme weather the whole time. Tornadoes possible on Saturday here in town. So, like, if you look at these extended stuff, it's all out there. Were we less aware of it? I don't know. And was all this always just the way spring was? That is a question I'm very curious about for people who have lived there. So all of this is going on. So I've got NBC at the high school game last night. Game is immediately delayed because of lightning, and so it's delayed a half hour. So now they're going to try to start it around 7:30. Okay, fine. Around 7:28, I get a text from my wife that says power is out. Now, we don't have a generator. By the way, if you're a generator company you'd like for me to endorse, now would be the time. We do not have a generator. I'd be happy to tell you all about it. We do not have a generator. Her parents do, and they live relatively close to us. So I said, listen, get done what you can get done. I don't know how long it's going to be out, but get done what you can get done. Head down to your parents if you need to make sure everything's charged, phone's charged, all of that stuff, and we'll go from there. So, okay, fine, away we go. So the series of texts that I then begin to get are, it becomes very clear to me that my wife has a very, very little, she's so competent at so many things and so great at so many things, I could not do life without her. And now I'm going to say the part that I think she would view as a slight, but she's not listening because she thinks she do a 10 to noon show still. She is completely unaware of what is controlled by electricity in our house. So I started to get a series of texts. The refrigerator is beeping. It would. There's no power going to it. It would. The water's not working. It won't. We're on a well. You have to have electricity to power it through the home. Yep, for sure. Can I flush the toilets? Once. You can do it once. Should the boys not do number twos? No, they should not. You should not do that. You should hold off on that. Go do that down at your parents' if that's the emergency situation we're at. One of the texts she sent me was, well, the pool cover vacuum isn't working. It wouldn't. All electrical. It's all, honey. It's all electrical. None of it's going to work. Then I get an outage notification from both Spectrum and my power company telling me that it will be 10:30 is when they're hoping to have it revitalized. All of this is going on, right? And the texts are just flying. So I know it's not 10:30. In the meantime, there is a group, a neighborhood text chain that is going around, and there are 3 people in the neighborhood who have generators, and let's just say they're pretty chesty about it. They're very, very happy about the fact that they have generators. I'm less happy, and so much so as images, photos of their homes with the power on, with the generators are being shown on this. You guys know how I feel about these tech chains. I can't stand them. Just to remove me right away. But now I've got to be taunted. Well, now I'm seeing video of what is being called by some, I'm not sure if these are meteorologists or not, as a mini tornado. And an entire street of huge pines fell on the power lines, and there was a power line on fire. I've sent this video to Fish. So I said, okay, 10:30, we're not having power at 10:30. That ain't going to be it at all. There's no chance of that. At which point, the lacrosse game was going late. It was a great game. We ended up winning the game. We're into the fourth quarter, and I get the following text from my wife. You need to come home now. I need help now. Okay. I know what that means. I texted back, I'll be there in 30 minutes. The following was not something I want to share on the radio. 30 minutes took too long. That was too long. It was just way too long for her. So we get back, get the kids sorted out. Then you realize if you don't have power, I mean, I kind of knew all of this, but all of a sudden it's like all of the things that you do in life are required to have it. Example, this job, the research, all of these things. So my plan is we get everybody back to the house and we're going to just hope that it comes on. So everybody gets back to the house. The boys are complaining. It's so hot. Yeah, there's no AC. Again, power. We get everybody to bed. I go to bed around 11. At this point, no power. At 2:58 in the morning, I can confirm that the power came back. And you know I confirmed that? Because apparently at 7:15 last night, my wife had every light in this house on. She had everything in this house running. She was apparently running a carnival here last night at 7 o'clock in an effort to God knows what. The sun's still up at 7 o'clock. This sucker lit up like Ebbets Field at 2:58 in the morning. Is it time to get up, Dad? No, it's not. Go back to sleep. Whole house. That's a first Friday, kids.
Honey, why is our electric bill so high?
Oh my God, dude. Why are all these lights on? What are we doing? Including lights that drive me nuts that she has on, and I think she just has them on because I wasn't there and I couldn't get on her about it. Like, all of it. And I was looking at the extended, like, we've got a Dublin lacrosse play day on Saturday, and that weather looks to be a debacle. Our lacrosse team, Beamsy's team, is going to the Ohio State-Michigan lacrosse game on Friday. That looks like that one might be okay, but Saturday's going to be a mess. You guys grew up here. Do you recall it like this, or are we just more aware?
I want to say it's more aware.
Okay, that's my hunch.
I do think this year has been more extreme in terms of all of the weather that we've had from January on, because you get Winter Storm Fern in January that was, I think, the perfect mix of a bunch of snow and really cold, because in the past it's been either or, super cold but not a ton of snow, or a ton of snow but not super cold. And so I think Joshua Perry put this to me when he was on a couple months ago, that there's just more energy in the atmosphere, because he's infinitely smarter than I am, and like that makes more sense. So I think it is more extreme, and we're also more aware because of, you got 6 notifications about one thing that really only one notification would have sufficed.
I think it's
I think you might be right.
I think it's a little bit of both, because, Reese, you talk about the energy and the atmosphere, and I believe they call it like the heat dome over Columbus that is inside of 270. Mm-hmm. And weather's coming at Columbus all the time, and it seems like it just breaks up and goes right around 270 and then reforms again. So I think there's something to that with the heat that buildings and cities and cars produce. So the more places there are, they've joked for years about tornadoes hitting trailer parks. Well, that's because they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times. So they're in rural areas. So that happens. I also think we're way more aware, way too aware.
I agree.
We doomsday all the time. We talked about this yesterday in our show meeting, Bo.
Yeah.
I get a 10 TV weather impact alert every other day, and half the times they get canceled before we get, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm hearing about weather that's affecting you last night down here. That's 2 hours away, folks. I don't need to know.
You get so many. The notifications thing is crazy. I mean, I get a thunderstorm notification. Okay, it's all right, fine. Now, this one was severe last night, obviously, and we've had. I'm not diminishing the day, because we've had them, right? We've had some crazy power outages down. We've had some crazy extreme weather, but we are so hyper aware of it. In the old days, like, you would get it out of the newspaper, you'd get it on your local news, and you'd kind of just go about your day. You weren't looking at it. I'm sitting here waiting for this high school lacrosse game last night to start, and I'm just refreshing radar as if it's going to change for the next 20 minutes, like an idiot. Like, yes, I think it's all of those things.
I think it was Sunday at the Blue Jackets game. My phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree with all the, there's lightning in your area, dangerous thunderstorm. I walked outside, it hadn't rained a drop. I figured I was going to be walking out to the movie Twister, and there was nothing.
It was all fine. It was all fine. Saturday is the spring game, and the Fan has you covered. Join us Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, Pelotonia. Fan Tailgate Show, live from FanFest. AR, Tim May, Dave Biddle. They get you ready for kickoff. It's the Pelotonia Spring Game Fangate Tailgate Show. Join the community passionate about ending cancer at Pelotonia.com, and presented by KeyBank. For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. We mentioned Rick Bonis was on with the fellas this morning. Reese has not had a chance to weigh in on his post-game rant from the season finale. We will get into all of that and sports last night coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at 1033 Polaris Parkway at Polaris Commons. Stop in today and save 50% store-wide on legendary steaks, burgers, and more. Plus, get doorbuster deals starting at just $19.99. Discover the Omaha Steaks difference today at the new store at Polaris Commons in Columbus.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to hit the road with something new from Germain Toyota. Right now, get into a rugged 2026 Toyota Tundra with just 2.99% financing for up to 72 months. Power, performance, and capability ready for every spring adventure. Or cruise into the season with a 2026 Tacoma SR5 for only $299 a month for 36 months and $39.99 due at signing. Fresh deals, fresh rides. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2026 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to relaunch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to 10tv.com/raise the roof. 10tv.com/raise the roof. Nominate a local hero today and help us raise the roof for those who make a difference.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Sunday mornings at 8.
It's the Fan Call-In Show, presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment is like driving the entire length of a football field blind. Don't let those few seconds distract you from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
We plant trees because people need trees, and when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy and warm with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the 50s, and then for Friday, another mostly sunny day with highs in the low 80s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yesterday was the last couple of days, really. Spent a great deal of time talking about the Blue Jackets first following the loss, the Flyers win, rather, on Monday. And then really didn't anticipate talking about it much at all yesterday because it felt like the season was kind of done, go through the motions. And obviously Rick Bonis felt that way as well and had a press conference for the ages and an exchange with Porty, who will join us coming up at 11:30. This morning, Rick Bonis was on with T-Bone and Tyvis and was asked about the exchange and kind of the viral nature of it.
Not really. That's news. Listen. I was obviously incredibly disappointed at the end of that game. It was a tough month, but the first person I look at when we play like that is me. And I've always told the players this. I'm my harshest critic, and the first when we don't play well, I go after myself first and foremost. Review everything I've done before the game, whether it's the video or the preparation or what I've talked about in the morning. So I was beating myself up pretty good there too. So, but not really surprised. You know, you're on the national stage like that. So, yeah, I guess the best way to say that is I'm not surprised. And I was really disappointed in myself. And obviously very disappointed in how the team played. I was hoping for a real good effort that night. It was going to be the last game. We've got a tremendous fan base here. Fantastic, enthusiastic fans. Very, very supportive. And I was just hoping that we would end the season on a very positive note with a win. And, you know, listen, people pay a lot of money to come to see us play. Families there watching. And I was just hoping for a better effort from all of us, and it didn't happen. And it was a very frustrating end to the last couple of weeks.
Reese, you were out the last couple of days. We talked about this a lot. When did you first become aware of what Rick said post game? Were you watching it live by chance? And then what are your thoughts on the way that he handled it?
So Montreal and Philly go to overtime Monday, and that's the last hockey action I've seen. Mm-hmm. Didn't pay attention at all Tuesday, and Wednesday morning woke up to see those comments and just to see the reaction about it. Kind of refreshing to see Rick Bonis say that about the team. For the past 2.5 weeks, it feels like we've seen this train coming down the tracks, and I've called it an all-time franchise faceplant. That they should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed with how the last 3 weeks of the season went. Despite their poor play on the ice, they kept getting chances from the hockey gods. With other teams losing around them, or other teams not picking up points to where you had up to the penultimate game of the season mattered. And finally, the hockey gods, I think, just said, you know what? If the Jackets aren't going to walk through the door, here you go, Philadelphia. We'll give you the playoff position that we've reserved seemingly for the last month for Columbus. And I do think Bonis, if he could have that back, he probably would take it a different approach. But he's a fiery guy. I think he's the perfect guy for the Blue Jackets in this moment. What I'm interested in now is to see where he wants to go with this, because I think there's mutual interest in having him return to be the bench boss. But at 71 years old, I don't know if that's the best thing for this franchise if he's only going to give him 1 year, maybe 2 at the most. Because then are you right back to where you started? What does this roster look like next season? Yeah. I don't really care at all what the players think about Bonis's comments. They all want to win, fine. I think Bonis has a good enough sense of that locker room to say they don't care enough about losing. They don't hate to lose in the way that I hate to lose, and that's a problem. And if the players in the locker room have a problem with him saying that, I would prefer the players not to be in that locker room next season, because it's just going to keep winding up 2, 3, 4 points out of a playoff spot if that's the total mindset.
Yeah, well said. I think the thing about the age, his age, I mean, this is the thing we don't know. He's been here for 2 months. So, you know, is he a young 71?
He feels like it at times.
Feels like it to me. He feels pretty vital to me. You know what I mean? 71 now is not what it was a long time ago, you know? So, you know, what's the energy level? It doesn't feel like it's lacking. To me, it feels like he could be in this job for 4 to 5 years. And honestly, that's well beyond the statute of limitations that most coaches get. Most coaches are 2 or 3 year guys in many instances. Now, obviously, you want to hire a guy and never have to worry about it again, and have a situation like they have down in Tampa where you hang banners and win cups and have the same coach and John Cooper, and you just keep winning and winning and winning and nothing to see here. But that's pretty pie in the sky stuff. What I'm curious about, you mentioned that you didn't care what the players had to say about it, and I understand that kind of where you're going with that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, there isn't anybody that we need to listen to. But, Bake, you were paying attention to player exit interviews yesterday. What did you make of some of the comments coming out of that?
The one thing that was concerning to me, and I didn't listen to all of them, but the only player that I heard say, I don't think we don't hate to lose, was Zach.
Yeah.
Everybody else said we all want to win. Well, that's not what Bones said. Everybody wants to win.
Sure.
But do you want to put the effort in to not lose? Do you hate losing? What was it? Was it Bobby Knight that said, if you show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser?
Right. Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah.
Zach, I'm pretty sure, is the only one I heard say anything about hating to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, well, maybe we need to learn how to win, coming from Zach and Boone. Well, you guys are part of the team that won here.
Yeah.
And you guys are part of the leadership group. You should be teaching these guys how to win. You should be leading the charge on that. And I don't want to pick on Zach Werenski when I say what I'm about to say, because Zach is a great player. The NHL and the world realizes that. And he quite possibly might be, at this point, the best player in franchise history.
He's on a short list.
Right there.
He's on a Mount Rushmore for sure.
It's right there with Rick Nash and Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yep.
I think it's those three
yep.
right now. I don't believe, and again, I'm not picking on him, I don't believe Zach Werenski is your next captain of this team.
Mm-hmm.
If I am the guy in charge and you truly think Adam Fantilli is your future, and Z's going to be a part of that too. He's still a young man. He signed for 2 more years, I believe, and hopefully they sign him on another long-term deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think you give the C to Fantilli and you say, this is your world. Go lead.
What I don't know about that, and you would know better than me, and Porty'd know better than any of us, and we'll have him on in 2 hours. Does Adam Fantilli have the personality for that? Does he have that in him to lead? And is he there's many ways to lead. You can lead quietly, and you can lead with how you play on the ice. You can be a follow me to freedom guy. You can be one of those guys. I mean, you can be like Brad Marchand. And you can be just somebody who plays the way he plays. And like all of those, there's all sorts of different ways to captain. I know you wanted Marchand for a long time, but I mean, there's that, or a player like that. What type of leader would he be? And I do think, you heard the comments from Boone about he doesn't know if he's going to be back. He'll talk to his team, talk to all of that. I do think Bonis's comments hold water in the sense that some big changes need to be made. I'm not saying this isn't a reset. I mean, you had, 94 points? You improved dramatically over last season. Like, there's a bunch, this isn't that. I'm not suggesting that. But there are some changes that need to be made from a personality standpoint of this operation. And if Bonis is going to be here, I think he probably is owed a certain amount of say in what that looks like. And then the other thing, big picture, and we'll talk about this with Porty, we got to figure out why our young guys who we draft want out or are ostracized here. We talked about this at great length yesterday. Like, we can't have those situations where guys you draft in the first round don't succeed here but go other places and do. That's recipe for abject failure. So, massive offseason for them. Massive offseason. We'll get into this a little bit more coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. A week from today, the NFL draft will begin. Very likely there will be 4 Buckeyes in the top 10 of that draft. We'll get into that. And a week out on day 1 of the NFL draft coming up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
What's up? It's Matty Ice. Shed those winter blues and spring into a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Trax at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. This month, you can lease a 26 Trax for as low as $179 a month for 36 months with $3,998 due at signing, or purchase for as low as $315 a month for 84 months with just $1,000 due at signing. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. McDaniel GM Superstore just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
With all that can go wrong at your home, it's enough to make you want to say, oh, brother. With Brothers Roofing and Construction, one call covers it all. Roofing, siding, rotting decks, we cover it all. So visit us online at brothersroofingconstruction.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. A seasonal tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. It all adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
If your garage door looks like it's survived several economic downturns, we are Deluxe Door Systems. For over 30 years, we've been transforming the look of people's homes with beautiful Clopay doors for less than you think. DeluxeDoorSystems.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program. A week from today will be day one of the NFL draft. It's been a very quiet time here. We've had about 6 weeks of relative quiet on the NFL side of things. It was busy at the Combine. It was busy around free agency, the Max Crosby affair and all that went with that. Certainly all of that was newsworthy, but it has been pretty quiet. It's been pretty quiet for several weeks now. Next week will be very interesting. It's been silly season. You have all the mock drafts coming out. You have certainly seen, for example, Mel Kiper Jr. that has the Cleveland Browns trading out of 6 and back to 12 and picking at 12, 20, and 24 in a trade with the Cowboys. There are all of these things that are going to happen here between today and next Thursday that will kind of shape this draft. Does this draft have the buzz that some of the ones previously have had? Probably not. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you do not have a glut of quarterbacks that are going to go in the top half of this draft. You're going to have one that's going to go, and then you'll kind of wait on Ty Simpson. There aren't a lot of glamour position guys out there. I think there's an incredible amount of interest here because you're going to have 4 Buckeyes in the top 5 of this thing, top 10 of this thing, rather. And so I think we have a great deal of interest in it. I think when you talk to people around the league and you say, who are the surest bets in this draft? They will say Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs might be the surest bets in this draft. The problem with both is one's an off-ball linebacker and the other is a safety. And those are positions that you typically don't draft this high. We've talked this week about how is the NFL rethinking all of this. Are positions that were not considered glamour positions or premium positions in the past, are they evolving into that in part because of this draft and in part because of the ever-changing nature of the National Football League? Former Notre Dame and LSU head coach Brian Kelly and Brian Jones of the Inside College Football Show. By the way, I did not realize Brian Kelly was doing media, which is pretty interesting out of him. They weighed in on Sonny Styles at the next level. Let's have a listen.
He is a temperature changer. He changes the temperature in your building. His character, his charisma, his intellect, all of those things. When he walks in, you know he's in the building. And that speaks volumes in terms of winning and championship level attainment.
I love the fact that he's a former safety. He's going to give you a bonus in terms of understanding of coverage and how to get to people in space. I love the sideline aspect. I know he's got 4.4 speed. I know he's as big and as athletic as he is, but man, the evolution of how you were taught the game of football matters, okay? I was an inside linebacker in high school. That's how I learned the game. When I went to D-line, it was simple for me, the way that I saw the game. And for him, coming from that backed off, zoomed out safety position, seeing football the way he does, bringing that speed and that awareness to the inside linebacker spot, it's shown up in dividends how he's able to help defenses. But on the next level, I think it'll be even more.
Bake like that. You like that Brian Urlacher drop I dropped in yesterday for him.
That was great. You know what I don't like, though? Why do all these shows have to put loud music beds underneath the highlights? Like, what are we doing? We don't need that.
You know who first started to do that?
No.
It was ESPN on SportsCenter.
Okay.
It was probably 20 years ago. They would just do the highlights previous to that. And then they started putting music beds underneath the highlights about 20 years ago. And I will tell you I remember listening to it because I was, in the television business at that time. And in those days, if ESPN did it, you were just like, yep, we got to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden we started putting music beds under highlights that we would cut. If we had time, you'd throw like a music bed under there. Certainly on a high school football Friday night, you would do that. You'd put like some high school football music underneath it. I don't know if they still do it anymore. I don't know if they have the manpower to do it anymore, but we used to do it, and that's where that came from.
That one seemed extremely loud. That was a little extreme. But
that was loud,
your Brian Urlacher comp yesterday was really good, and what Brian Jones was saying there, I think is really good. A lot of times versatility is huge, but Sonny Styles is a super smart guy, so he's probably already learned how to play linebacker and how to see his position from the linebacker spot, but yet he also understands the guy behind him's perspective and what he liked a linebacker to do or wanted a linebacker to do and those type of things. So I think that's a very interesting point. And I think that's something that is going to give Sonny Styles, and we talked about this yesterday, I think he's bust-proof. I think Sonny Styles is, barring injury, 10 to 15 years of really quality linebacker play.
Yeah.
I think it's going to give him a leg up early on in the league.
Reese, I'm going to ask you the same question. JP and Bacon and I answered this question yesterday. We blind ranked the 4 Buckeyes going in the top 10, be positionally agnostic. You're a general manager, safest, surest bet. How would you have them ranked?
I'd probably go Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese.
You know, it's funny. All 4 of us did it. All 4 of us had different
answers.
Yeah.
We all did. Yeah.
Did JP put the linebackers ahead of everybody else?
No, not both of them. I think I had Caleb, Sonny, Arvell, Carnell. And you had them inverted, right?
I had Caleb, Sonny, Carnell, Arvell.
Yeah, you had it slightly different.
But we're all on the same page with Caleb?
No, JP did he had Sonny, Caleb, Carnell, Arvell. Or maybe the other two.
I think he had Arvell third
ahead of
and
Carnell.
then Carnell.
Yeah. None of them are going to miss. They're just not. There's just too good of a track record. They're too great at players. They're not going to miss. So it's just a matter of what level of success do they have. I see no scenario where Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs are busts. I can't for the life of me see how either one of those guys would be busts. Arvell, I think situationally, I don't think, again, like you try to put butts on this, like none of these guys are going to bust. But like Arvell might be a little bit situationally specific if there is success there, and then how he is deployed. And then the same with Carnell because it's all about situation. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, I also do think of the teams in the top 5, maybe 6 if we're talking Carnell to Cleveland. Going to the New York Jets might not be the best thing for the health of whoever goes to Gang Green because that organization's in a lot of it's chaos every season. They've got Aaron Glenn and that coaching staff. If the numbers are down, do people start to put that bust label on whomever they draft because that team's going to stink?
No, it feels like the draft for me. And now it feels like it'll be Bailey or Reese at 2. To me, it feels like the draft starts at Tennessee. And then I think it really kicks up with the Browns at 6.
Yeah.
Like those are the 2 spots. So I was on DC radio yesterday and they asked me, we did some Buckeye stuff because apparently they were all there playing Top Golf on Tuesday. And then they asked me from a Browns perspective, what would Browns fans want at number 6? You're both Browns fans. I'll ask you that question. What would you want them to do at 6?
I want Carnell Tate.
Okay.
I don't want draft capital for next year. I don't want an offensive lineman. I don't want... If they landed with Caleb Downs, I'd be fine with it because again of what we just said. But I think Carnell's don't overthink this. Just take Carnell at 6.
I agree with Reese on there. And Bo, I was a big proponent of them trading back last year.
Yeah.
I hate the noise you're hearing now about it because it sounds like they're doing it again. And I think if Carnell Tate is there at 6, you should run to it.
I'm with you guys. I want Tate. I think they need weapons in the biggest way possible. You need people that guys have to defend. Quite honestly, I wouldn't even care if they took Kenyon Sadiq at 6. I wouldn't if they believed in him. I wouldn't care if Jeremiah Love somehow fell to 6, and you could have him and Quinshawn, and all of a sudden you got 2 guys that you got to deal with coming out of the backfield. One's power, and they're both kind of power. Fine. Just draft. I'm almost to the point where draft the very best player on your board at 6 and be positionally agnostic. But in my heart of hearts, I want it to be Tate. Dane Brugler is on the Big Play Cleveland show and addressed the Browns and the possibility of Carnell Tate.
I think it's funny with Carnell Tate, from Ohio State. One of the reasons they passed on McMillan last year in the top 10 and they went with Mason Graham was because they had an incomplete testing profile on McMillan. All he did was a 40-yard dash the entire process, and he ran a 4.53. Okay, what did Carnell Tate do? All he did this process was run a 40, and he ran a 4.53. And so I think it's interesting when you look at it through that lens. Would the Browns, seeing the success that McMillan had last year for the Panthers as an NFL rookie, would they make the same? I don't want to say mistake, but would they look at the situation the same this year with Tate?
I work there. I didn't know that part of that story. That I don't know where. And Dane's well sourced, but I did not know that part of the reason they didn't take Tet McMillan. I wonder where he got that information. It's good information that he has there, with the idea that they didn't have all of the testing information on him. My hunch is they like Carnell Tate quite a bit. My hunch is that at 6, though, if there's value there, that they're going to listen to all of it. They have struggled drafting wide receivers. Just have. They've missed on a lot of them. And some of this, you guys have this in the prep here. Some of this is mid-round stuff, like Anthony Schwartz over Amon-Ra St. Brown. A lot of people passed on Amon-Ra St. Brown. David Bell over Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. Cedric Tillman over Josh Downs. Yep. Sure. So they need to land. I was talking to a guy last night, and he goes, well, what do you think about Carnell Tate? And I said, well, look, he catches every ball that's thrown his way. That feels like something that I would want to be on my team. And so that's the way that I hope they go. A week from today, we'll see. But I think that they're in a position where when you draft at 6, last year when you drafted 5, like Mason Graham needs to be a foundational player of the Cleveland Browns. He needs to be a multiple-time Pro Bowler. Whoever you pick at 6 needs to be a foundational player of the Cleveland Browns. He needs to be a guy for 10 years that you can rely upon. He needs to get to a second contract, a contract that is rich. That is what is required when you pick this high. Because when you're if you pick this high and you hit on it, then you have to pick this high again for a while. And that's the position they're kind of in right now, is they need foundational guys coming out of the draft. And hopefully that's, from my perspective, I hope that's Tate at number 6. But hell, if it were Sonny, if it were Caleb, I'd be fine with those as well. Just get me players who can play. Pretty interesting development on the golf side of things. A lot of potential conversation yesterday about LIV Golf going kaput. It did rally. The narrative around it did rally as it went along, but it is curious to know where this will all go. We will get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Come into your local AAA Tire and Auto Service and save $15 on any oil change. Offer includes a free tire rotation, and you'll earn $7 toward your next service with Duramax dollars. Offer ends April 30th. See store for details.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with a $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Man once shaved Timmy's leg live on the air. Tune in weekdays at 3 to see what else they'll shave. Wait, what else they'll shave? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
Common Man and Timmy, smooth as silk.
Okay, The Fan.
Columbus, get a new Ford with special financing for everyone at Capital Ford of Columbus. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford Escapes in stock. We have options for all. Deals end April 30th. Visit CapitalFordofColumbus.com now.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. April's the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. The more you upgrade, the more you save. Plus 24 months with no payments and no interest. And if you need some more, how about a $500 bonus off your home improvement project? Schedule your free estimate today. Call 614-502-5220. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Aviators football returns Friday, April 17th, 8 p.m. kickoff. The first 5,000 fans through the gates take home a free team flag. Grab your tickets now at UFLAviators.com. United we fly.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, I certainly was curious yesterday as the day went along. You started to hear some rumblings of this, and the New York Times and The Athletic reported yesterday that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund is on the verge of announcing it withdraw financial support for LIV Golf. The report adds that the move comes as Saudi Arabia's $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund, good Lord, announced a new 5-year strategy on Wednesday, with the fund's governor saying it would slow down some of its biggest projects that focus on increasing the efficiency of investments. LIV is scheduled to play its 6th tournament of the season today in Mexico City. It's the first tournament in the United States. It's not scheduled till May 7th through the 10th at Trump National in Virginia. Amid the reports, LIV CEO Scott O'Neill told his staff in an email that with the season will go on plan, uninterrupted, and at full throttle. While the media landscape is often filled with speculation, our reality is defined by the work we do on the grass. We're headed into the heart of our 26th schedule with full energy and organization that is bigger, louder, more influential than ever before. Adding the life of a startup movement is often defined by these moments of pressure. We signed up for this because we believe in disrupting the status quo. We have faced headwinds since the jump. We've answered every time with resilience and grace. Now we answer by doing what we do best, putting on the most compelling show in sports. The thing, I mean, that to me, by the way, sounds like something someone would say as they're trying to get people to not jump ship. That's
yeah, we
like
do it Tuesdays, but is that the real truth? No, Mr. Scott O'Neill.
Well, the one part that's definitely not the real truth, Reese, is this line in here, with the full energy of an organization that is bigger, louder, and more influential than ever before. That's just not true. That's just not true. I think that to me, if you were to do like the apex of the LIV conversation, it was when Cam Smith, who was ascending at that time, won the Open Championship. It was the 150th Open Championship at St. Andrews. He held off Rory McIlroy, who didn't make a putt in the entire final Sunday round. And then the next day, he went to LIV. And that culminated, and I'm pretty sure my timing on this is right, it culminated a summer that included much bigger names like John Rahm and some others who decided to go the LIV way as well after years of saying, I would never do that. I want to be competitive, want to play 4 rounds of golf and all of the thing. But the reality is that Ted DiBiase was right. Everybody has a price. And a lot of these guys took the cash, and I don't blame them. I would have taken it too. If somebody offered me $200 million to not have to win, who doesn't do that? And I'm not going to judge somebody that did. I don't have any problem with them doing it. That's a personal choice. There are consequences for those choices. And I think what'll be interesting is what this looks like. If this does, in fact, go away, and it feels like the momentum is there. You got Koepka coming back, Patrick Reed's coming back to the PGA Tour. In terms of guys that the PGA Tour would want, I mean, just think of this from the Memorial standpoint. Who on LIV is going to move the needle at the Memorial? Bryson?
That might be the list.
That's probably it.
John Rahm always does it for me, but
maybe
he's been outside of kind of our PGA golf focus for so long because, with Scott O'Neill's email to the LIV Golf staff is like, oh, we're going to be louder than ever before. It's like, no, the only noise you made was at the beginning. And then we all stopped paying attention because you were sandwiched between Dawson's Creek reruns. So no noise has been made by a lot of these guys for a very long time. And even when you see LIV golfers in the field, you're still getting Rory. You're still getting Scotty. Mm-hmm. So even their impact's been minimized by their performance in actual events that we watch.
Yeah, you haven't seen any of them when you do see them winning any of these golf tournaments. Dustin Johnson, maybe. There was a time. I don't know if he still moves the needle or not.
Probably Phil Bake. Truly.
Phil would,
I mean, even in his mid-50s, I think he probably still would be
Phil
somebody.
Even come back, though?
Probably not.
He kind of led the charge on this, and then when the media scrutinized him, he kind of tucked his tail. And a lot of the things Phil was arguing for, LIV Golf forced the PGA Tour to do.
It's a great point out of you.
It forced them to up their pay and add some things and do some things. It does sound like, Bo, I wish I would have, I thought I bookmarked this tweet, and I guess I didn't this morning. It was from somebody that was covering all of this and into it. Mm-hmm. It does sound like that the LIV Golf is going to play the schedule for 2026, but it does sound like this is it for it. They're going to finish this schedule, and then it is done.
There's no more money.
There is. They're just choosing not to spend it on this. They have money as long as they want it. They're just not going to spend it on this anymore.
We've had the question forever is how long do, folks' patience, how long does that go when they're sinking millions, if not billions of dollars into something because they have it? And then where's the threshold? I mean, we talked about this in the onset of LIV Golf. How long before the Saudis just get bored?
Yes.
It seems with yesterday's news, the Saudis got bored.
We were right about this too. In the world of golf, with the exception of truly Tiger Woods, with the exception of Tiger Woods, there isn't anybody that's bigger than the events. I don't even know if Rory and Scotty are. If all of them would have went to LIV, like if Rory and Scotty and all of them, and there were none of the best players in the world playing on the PGA Tour, then maybe that would have kneecapped the PGA Tour. But those guys stayed. And so as a collective, what's really the star of professional golf truly is the events. It's the 4 majors. I mean, that's it. And then it's these signature things that come, if they come to your town, you care about it as we do about the Memorial. And there are a handful of tournaments. I think TPC, Memorial, Arnie's tournament, sometimes Pebble. When they play out at Torrey, sometimes that one's got, and then it's East Lake and that stuff that happens at the end of the year. But there aren't enough. There isn't anybody with enough star power. Tiger Woods, it's the line from Game of Thrones. Tiger Woods wasn't a spoke on the wheel. He broke the wheel. And there's nobody else like him. Nobody followed these guys. Rahm, DeChambeau, Koepka, Phil. None of them followed him to LIV. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared about it. Nobody covered it. It happened in a closet. Now, I don't know how it was viewed around the world. Maybe it was viewed differently. because they took these guys and played in Mexico City and Saudi Arabia and Australia and Singapore and all these places. Maybe around the world it hit differently, but anytime I would see video, and this is anecdotal, I acknowledge, but anytime that you would see video of highlights from LIV, it's played with very sparse crowds. I mean, it's not like you're seeing these massive crowds or anything. Now, I know buddies who went to LIV Golf events and followed one of their friends, a guy I know who plays on LIV, and they had the time of their lives. Like, went to the Greenbrier, loved it when they had the event down there. Absolutely loved it. Said it was great. Kids got great access to players and all of those things. So to Baker's point, I think a lot of good did come of this. A lot of good did. But you probably overestimated the value of the star power of most of the guys.
I mean,
they don't really have it.
Bryson had to go and do his own YouTube online following that was separate from his presence in LIV Golf to really put himself back into a more national North American spotlight.
100%.
Like, there's nothing LIV Golf had done to grow the game. Nothing they had done to grow anything but really the purses that the PGA was going to offer. Like, did make the PGA step up what they were willing to spend, but did you make the sport of golf better? No.
You guys know this. I've never understood. I get it, but I've never understood the consternation on the LIV Golf, and I think all of the money is dirty anyway, so who cares? But this conversation we're having right now about LIV Golf really scares me and worries me and reminds me of the conversation we had 2 weeks ago about the future of the UFL and the Columbus Aviators.
Yeah. That's why I think, this is a good way to sum it up. They have to have in the next 5 years, if this is going to be a real product long term, they have got to have participation from the National Football League.
Yep.
You have to.
Because they've got the TV deals.
You got it. You got the television, you got the eyeballs, you've got all of it. You've got the cities, you've got the franchise, you got all of it. If you're truly going to thrive, you need to have NFL participation in some way, some sort of partnership. Second hour coming up next. We kick it off with the mailbag. It is jammed full today. We get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
With the first pick of my favorite places in Columbus, I choose Hollywood Casino Columbus. The draft is coming up. 4 in the top 10. Oh, man, is this draft going to be fun. So much fun, we need to throw a party. Scotty Vegas here, and come to the sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus on Thursday, April 23rd for the draft. We're going to have contests, prizes, and best bets. See you at 7 on Thursday, April 23rd. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-589-9966.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He had heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
With over 33 years of experience, Newman Roofing has become a household name in Central Ohio. Voted best roofing company 4 years in a row, Newman Roofing delivers a white glove experience every time. When it comes to your roof, call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years.
I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hey, it's AR here from my longtime friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. If you need service but don't have time to plan it out, Germain Honda of Dublin makes it easy. During the Honda Spring event, you can take advantage of same-day service, no appointment necessary. Just pull in, and their team will take care of you. Fast, convenient, and done right the first time. They've been taking care of me and my Ridgeline for years. Keep your Honda running at its best with Germain Honda of Dublin and at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
It's never a bad time to fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Spring game Saturday for Ohio State. Buckeyes will kick things off at noon. Ryan Day says to expect a real game format with thud tackling for the first teamers. Rains in the forecast for the weekend. We'll have live fan pre-spring game coverage outside St. John's at 10 a.m. Tonight at 6 o'clock, join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey on the Fan for a special spring game preview show. 5 Buckeyes are expected to hear their names called next Thursday in the first round of the NFL draft that'll be held in Pittsburgh. In baseball, the Reds look to break out the brooms on the Giants today in Cincinnati. First pitch there is 12:40. Tonight in Cleveland, the Guardians host the Orioles at 6:10. Cleveland lost in St. Louis yesterday 5-3. In the minors, the Clippers beat the Iowa Cubs 9-4 last night at Huntington Park. Both teams are back in the Arena District for some day baseball today at 12:15. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Paul Finebaum coming up in 28 minutes from now. Between now and then, we open up that mailbag. Hit it, fellas.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it out. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
Lots to get to here, kids. A lot of Jackets ones, which is cool to see. Let's start with Trevor on this one. Trevor from Delaware. Hey, guys. Not sure if this is a hey, guys thing or not, but I was listening to the show yesterday, kind of recapping another disappointing Jacket season. Wanted to throw a few theories at you guys. Reading between the lines on Bonis's press conference the past few weeks, I'm wondering if he is questioning the leadership of the team, specifically the captain and assistant captain. Was Boone upset that they were shopping him at the deadline? Did Z win gold and stop caring, get too tired? I feel like these guys guys are too nice, and the team needs a real blank hole to wear the A or C on the sweater. They seemed to play their best hockey when Bones came in and was kind of babying them in the beginning. When he started to get harder on them, they crumbled. They've had a lot of coaches come in here to try to change the culture. The only time it seemed to work is when they had a captain that was brought in, Torts and Dubinsky. Dubinsky wasn't a captain. Nash was a nice guy, great player, but he led by play, not voice. I don't think Boone Jenner should have been the captain of this team, and I don't think Z is ready for that yet either. A guy like Coyle or Sevo should have been, and they were too new, I guess. In regards to guys playing better after they are traded, I wonder if there are agents and other people around the league telling guys you don't want to be in Columbus to not act happy, to act unhappy in Columbus, that they'll eventually get traded to a better place if they act up. I don't know, just a theory. Lots to get into here. I don't think there's zero chance that Zach Werenski stopped caring. I mean, all you have to do is watch how he played down the stretch. I mean, he played his rear end off the whole way. And I think, honestly, he essentially became the de facto captain because he had to answer first for everything because Boone had injuries and because Boone wasn't necessarily an instrumental part of all of this as it went along the last month or so. So I don't think you have anything to worry about there. Bake, you talked about the captain thing. You know the interesting thing about Torts and Dubinsky? They were oil and water in New York. He played under him in New York, and it was oil and water.
I think
and then
they were oil and water here, too.
Yeah, but there were for a short time it worked. But yeah, Dubinsky was never a captain. He was an A, I think, at one point, but I don't think he certainly never had the C.
Yeah, and I think two things can be true with that. You can have odds and disagreements with someone. Those can also make you closer and give you a better understanding of those people. And I think Dubinsky and Torts kind of had that love-hate relationship. I talked the other day about Nick Foligno. Was the captain when Torts came in, and Torts said, I don't think you're captain material.
Yeah.
And they went rounds on it, and it made Nick Foligno a better captain and a better leader. Charlie Coyle, you just can't give a guy the captaincy of your team, I don't believe, in their first year with your team. Charlie Coyle, I think, could be a captain. Let's not forget this either. Charlie Coyle has never been the man on a team. He's a very good player, but he's not a first-line type player, and that doesn't mean a first-line type player has to be your captain.
Sure.
But Charlie Coyle's been to the playoffs every year in his career until this year, but he was never the main guy on those teams. He was a very nice role player. He had some huge playoffs with the Boston Bruins, and he can be a playoff type player. But he's never had to be the guy on a team, and he was kind of thrust into that leadership role this year, maybe a little more than he has ever been. One thing on Zach here, too, and I don't think the Boone Jenner thing is true. I don't think the Blue Jackets were shopping him at the deadline because they were in the middle of this. If they would have not been in the middle of this, maybe. But Don Waddell said he decided before the Olympic break that he wasn't selling. Let's remember this on Zach Werenski. That dude has played as much or more hockey than anybody in the world the last 2 years. He played last year for the Blue Jackets. Then he played in the Four Nations. He was part of, and when you are in this till the end, the Jackets were playing playoff hockey last year and this year for a long, long time. Yeah. So that means you are giving everything. So his season ends last year. Then he goes to the World Championships, which he wasn't going to do, but he decided he really wanted to do it. And then he comes this year. He goes to the Olympics, and he's doing this while he's playing 30 minutes a night. I know this sounds like excuses, but I'm pretty sure Zach Werenski is worn out. I'm pretty sure he
didn't play that way, though, Bake.
I know, but I'm pretty sure that dude needs a month to recharge right now.
Yeah. Reese, I'm going to come to you after this one. This stays in that same realm. Listen to your broadcast. This is from Karen. Listen to your broadcast. Absolutely agree that the press has been soft on the Blue Jackets. But what I say is it's not just that they haven't been tough enough on the Blue Jackets, but the Blue Jackets have been gently ignored overall. I have been watching our local TV broadcasts and listening to your radio station through the Blue Jackets winning and the Blue Jackets losing. There were times where the Blue Jackets scores are not given on the sportscast win or lose. There were times when the Blue Jackets are in the middle of their winning streak and the lead story on the sports broadcast was someone who signed at Ohio State. I understand that Ohio State football is king in Columbus, but at times Ohio State non-stories take the headlines over what any other team does in Columbus. We have a pro team that's been here for 25 years. Maybe it's time to hold the Blue Jackets to the standard that the press hold the Ohio State football team to. When the Blue Jackets don't make the playoffs, when people go to other places or do well, stop talking about it the day after the season is done. Recognize them when they win, hold them to a standard when they lose. Thank you, Karen. This is, real quick, just to respond to this. First, when I was at Channel 10, we always ran Jackets highlights every single time. We're always at all the availabilities. I assume that they still do all of those things now. In terms of the station, like every single game, we have Jody Shelley on every single time. So there's some of that. The other thing I would say briefly, we have data, and a lot of people have data, that tells us what people care about most. And as you define it here, as a non-story on Ohio, there is no such thing that's a non-story on Ohio State football. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, the Jackets are the McRib, the Buckeyes are the Big Mac, and we're McDonald's. That makes sense, right? When the McRib goes away, you want to hear from it, but most people are still coming for the Big Mac. I've never felt that was the case, that they get ignored. Do they get as much coverage? No, but we have a good understanding of what most of our listeners want to hear about all of the time. Not some of the time, and sometimes not even most of the time. When it gets this bad, you even have people that are saying, please stop talking about this organization. Spring game Saturday. Yeah. It's a thing you're never going to be able to escape in this market. And it's especially bad when after this week, the Jackets are likely going away until October. I mean, the Rick Bonis thing, if that gets figured out sometime in the next couple of days, I know he had mentioned with T-Bone and Tyvis the desire to have that thing kind of wrapped up. And that'll be that.
If you want to have the conversation about something that is ignored probably by the traditional media in this town based on the success that they have that would have a beef, it's the Crew.
100%.
They're probably the one that
the most successful professional franchise in the state.
They're on a short list. So like if you're going to say, like, here's something that we don't talk about enough, it's probably them. They're probably the answer to that question.
And let's be honest, media coverage of a team should have no bearing on how that team plays on their ice field.
Yeah, whatever we say isn't going to change the fact of what the last 2 weeks were.
Like, if we were in there berating, if everybody was berating the Blue Jackets for the past 2 months in the media in Columbus, I don't think it changes anything.
No, and I've done the data on this for years. There are tens of thousands of you who watch every single game, who do it how Bake does, and are locked in all the time. There are hundreds of thousands of you that pay attention to it when they're good. And I think that the tens of thousands can become hundreds of thousands if they win consistently. We've seen this in other markets. It's the chicken before the egg, but the egg is the winning. You win, and they come. And then they come in droves, and it becomes a thing to do. I mean, that's what it is.
And, Bo, it's why, of all the NHL fans in the league, I can't stand Chicago Blackhawks fans the most, because they couldn't even get 8,000 people in their building. And then they get Kane and Taves, and now half of them are in Nationwide Arena.
Yeah, right.
Like, where were you guys then? You were nowhere, but now you're here. Winning cures everything.
Yeah, it does. I tell you what, on the other side of this quick timeout, we'll continue with the mailbag. An interesting one from Jason on the subject of leadership and can culture be formed amidst losing, something we posed earlier this week. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Grab me a new cross-match bingo from the Ohio Lottery.
Sure thing. You said match bingo cross?
No, the newest $10 scratch-off with prizes up to $500,000.
Yeah.
The ticket's so big, it's only sold at retail counters? The one with over $15 million in prizes? Cross-match bingo.
One cross bingo match coming up.
However you say it, cross-match bingo combines cash word, bingo, and match games all into one for even more fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, energy bills have been crazy as of late, which has had our phone ringing off the hook. Pella windows give you both a home makeover and often an energy bill makeover.
We hear that all the time at the other window place. We love the makeover. No, wait. We want a do-over. That's what they say. Is do-over and makeover the same thing?
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats. Looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you in our refrigerated trucks so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save $20 on your first Kroger pickup or delivery order of $75 or more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Last year, Eric Reeser and T-Bone staged the first annual Fan 5K. People had a good time and no one died. So we decided to do it all again. It all goes down Saturday, June 20th in Otterbein.
Presented by the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
Will Reeser's muscular calves explode? Will T-Bone's beard choke him while running? More importantly, will Tyvis, Common Man, and Timmy make total fools of themselves? Maybe. Magic 8 Ball says signs point to yes. Register today at 971therace.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Nobody ever cast a vote for Amy Acton, but she stopped yours. At the last minute, the day before the 2020 primary, Acton called off and canceled the election, defying a judge's orders and abusing her power to silence voters. Now, Acton wants more power as our governor. We already gave her a chance, and we've seen what she'll do. Suspend elections and silence us. Ohio can't afford liberal Amy Acton leading our state. We deserve a governor who will stand up for voters, not shut them down. As our governor, Vivek Ramaswamy will fight for us to protect our voice at the polls and defend election integrity by supporting safe and secure elections with voter ID. Because here in Ohio, voters have the power, not unelected bureaucrats. Protecting your voice to secure our future. Lower costs, bigger paychecks. Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
Paid for by Vivek Ramaswamy and Rob McCauley for Ohio.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy and warm with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the 50s, and then for Friday, another mostly sunny day with highs in the low 80s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
The show that understands the importance of a situational beverage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed, you are. Paul Finebaum coming up in 13 minutes. We, of course, sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for nearly 80 of these years. We continue with the mailbag. Couple more on the jackets and then some potpourri as well. Let's start with this one from Jason. I enjoy listening to you guys, and you do a great job. Heard bits and pieces of your good conversation today. He quotes me here, the billion-dollar question, can you teach culture amidst losing? He writes, if you're interested in chatting about this, based in Columbus, culture shaping, leadership development is the work I do nationally and beyond. He has a book about this called Thermostat Cultures, about the process of proactively shaping cultures within teams and organizations, as a podcast as well. Jason, I'll reach out because I'm curious how exactly you do that. I think it's a very difficult thing to be able to do in professional sports, is to be able to build it amidst the losing. And I think that's the challenge for the Jackets. And quite honestly, Yeah, to me, it's an Adam Fantilli question. They should know him well enough to know if he can handle it. Can he handle what comes with it? I think they want him to be that. I think he has the talent to be that. I don't know him well enough personally to know if he has the personality for it. And sometimes you give that to a guy who's not ready for it, and it goes the other way. But if he's got it in him, then you're talking.
And, Bo, I'm not there every day, like at practice and covering those guys like Porty and some of these, and Porty would know a little better. But just what I've seen from Adam in some of the post games, he seems like a guy that does really, really care, and he's super hard on himself. And there's a lot of times when he's, man, if I just have done this or I would have done this, we won this game. Yep. And I think he's got the makeup. It's just let the training wheels off and let him go.
This one from Christopher. We were talking about Reese was off and was weighing in on this. Ohio State was surveying about the shot and the shoe improvements
I saw
that you want seeded. Yeah, and
I got improvement ideas.
You're choosing
want to hear
violence.
them, or we do that in the next segment?
You're choosing violence
do it at
on the
noon
day
today,
off.
right?
It was interesting. 11 Warriors had a story about this today. About they polled like their readers, and what their readers preferred was better bathrooms. Was like the number one thing that they wanted. The number one thing I thought was better seating. Was the minimum, like seat backs all the way around that place would be my minimum requirement. But the one thing that Ohio State keeps coming back to is more luxury suites and those type of things, because that's where the money is. This from Christopher. This include the shot as well. It's frustrating OSU didn't learn from the 60s, 70s mistakes of big, sterile, multi-use stadiums, Riverfront, Three Rivers, Veterans, etc. They had proof in their own state that those were a bad idea, yet did it anyway. Yeah, Christopher, I kind of went over this. It was a race to get an arena built. Dom talked about this on Tuesdays with DeBerry. You had to have, there was this incredible push in the city. You had to have something that could host big-time concert events. Now, should you build a basketball arena with that in mind? Retroactively, no. You probably shouldn't have done that. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. But Ohio State was seeing dollar signs, and they were saying, boy, here's a revenue thing that we can use more than just the 80 times or 100 times a year that you have ice hockey and men's and women's basketball. This is something that we can use around the year round. And so that's what they were thinking. And at the time, they were the only show in town for that. I don't know. What would you guys say? I don't go to concerts. What would you say is the split between Nationwide and St. John in terms of, or not St. John, there's a Freudian slip. And
it's what you want, though, right?
What I want, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Shot or Nationwide, how does that split?
Oh, in terms of concerts, I think it's an even 50-50.
Yeah, I think it's about 50-50.
I would prefer Nationwide. I do prefer Nationwide concert-wise to the Shot.
Can't even be close, can it?
No.
Yeah, that feels.
I think
like
Nationwide is a little better, but I think both of them are okay. Just there's no bad seat in Nationwide, really, ever.
No. This one titled "Cruising with Taberry." Mike asks, "Hello, I was inquiring if there's more info on cruising with you and Dom, because I was listening to your show when you were both dreaming of doing Italy with a group of people. After telling my wife, she was curious if you both are serious with this. With my wife retiring in June, we plan to hit a bucket list while we are still healthy and able to enjoy seeing different places. Alaska, Iceland, Norway, Nova Scotia, and of course Hawaii. We love the Hawaiian Islands, so much to offer and see. Maui is one of our favorites. We were there just before the fire. To me, it's the most laid back of the island. So much to see and experience. Thanks for the great informational sports radio show." Dom and I are absolutely serious about this. Preliminary talks. It's possible. It's possible.
Are you going to all of those locations listed at the same cruise?
Just Italy.
Okay.
Just Italy with Uncle Dommy is kind of what we're thinking. So, yeah, there's some legit momentum for it.
Italy with Dom would just be an all-timer. I mean, him with his people, oh my goodness.
It would be, honestly, like if 10 TV wanted to, and I'm just talking out loud now, it would 100%, we could make a series out of it. Like half-hour episodes.
They're always looking for stuff on the Plus.
Perfect for 10 TV Plus.
I mean, we could do it.
Yeah?
Yeah. If I brought the kids, like Bootsy and Dom, tomcatting around like Naples,
Dom would be addicted to Block Blast.
I mean, it would be unbelievable. Wait till I show it to him. Still have not re-downloaded it, boys. Holding strong.
All right, good for you.
Until we're on the next flight that doesn't have anything to do.
Maybe last night when the power was out, got nothing else to do.
Thank God I didn't even think of it. Thank God. This one from Doug. We were having the conversation about how they ask you on the delivery mechanism to tip before your delivery. Doug writes, why tip before you get service? Tip equals to ensure promptness. Old school tipping was to get products faster. How about that? I mean, he emailed it. It must be true. Who am I to disagree?
Plausible, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Bo, the Doug there, and I won't say the Doug's last name, that is I don't think that's like a common last name. And there was a Doug right around our age that was a very good baseball player for Bexley. And I think he made it to AAA with the Twins. I wonder if that's the same Doug.
Well, Doug, if you're listening and we answered your question, Bake wants to know if you're the same Doug. So feel free to fire back an email and we'll get you that answer, Bake. This one from Norman. Uncle Bo and the friends. Next year will be my 10th anniversary. I want to take my bride somewhere special. She's a beach girl at heart and wants nothing more than sun, ocean, and pool, and to not hear her name called 85,000 times a day. Being a mom of four will do that to you, as I'm sure you're aware. Yes, so. Absolutely does. We've done Hawaii and would like to stay within the Eastern Central time zones. Any suggestions or recommendations from your vast travel experience are appreciated. Love the show, and thanks for taking the time to read and possibly help me out. Norm, I'd be happy to help you out. I would say where I just went would be spectacular, especially if you have a little bit of ability to move around in terms of when this is. I don't know when your anniversary is. He just says next year. But if for some reason it's in the fall, you can do a lot worse than going straight down to 30A. Incredible food, great places to stay. The beaches are powder sugar white. A lot of people up here don't go there, don't know about it as much. A lot of people here go to Naples. Naples is great, too. There's a lot of great places in Florida. I absolutely adore 30A. So that's Seaside, Watercolor, Rosemary. Those beaches there are just spectacular. Those communities are great. The food's awesome. Tons of stuff to do. There's golf if you want it, fishing if you want it, all of those things. And then I'll tell you another one that's really cool that we did recently. If you're looking for something like summer, Maine's really cool. We did like Kennebunkport a couple of years ago, and that was awesome. We flew into Boston and then drove up there, stayed at a place called the Cliff House, which was just south of Kennebunkport, and that was a really cool place to go too, and that would give you a little bit of that. Now, not beach, the water's going to be cold, but ocean adjacent, so you certainly would get that there. I've not done like the South Carolina beaches. Sea Island, Georgia is a big winner, too, if you're looking for that. I don't know what you're looking to do, but they got some great beaches there. And then, obviously, that Palm Beach area wins pretty good, too, if you're into that.
So I'm thinking bigger and just the place I've always wanted to go. I'm like, go to Turks and Caicos. Let's go. 10 years.
Well, that's not Eastern or Central United States.
I know, but still.
I mean, come on. We got to have rules here, Bake.
It's not what you asked for, but it's what you're getting.
You're not going to ever do wrong. You're not going to do anything wrong in those Caribbean islands, whether it's the Caymans or St. John or any of those in the Caribbean are all good. Turks is great. All of those places are pretty good places. This one from Julia, who writes, I have to respond to your account last week of going to a Pearl Jam concert in Missoula in the early 90s. Wondering if it was the same one that my son went to around 1994. He was about 12 and crushed when he couldn't go backstage to meet Jeff Ament, who, when I told this story, is from Big Sandy, Montana, and that's why they started their tours in Missoula back in the day. I wasn't there. A friend's dad took them, but it sounded like a great concert. I taught for 8 years, from 88 to 96 at the University of Montana. Just missed my brother. He would have been just after that. Also, I'm wondering if you've watched the hour-long documentary on PBS called Playing Like a Girl about the long career of Coach Robin Selvig at Montana. It's a sweet doc about his long career. 42 years, I think. He recently retired. Support of women, including Native American women on the team. I went to a few games when Shannon Kate was there. She was a star player. She was incredible. And then became the coach after that. I was tempted to write you when the Grizz beat the Cats in the football championship this year for once, but refrained. I enjoy your comments about the game and the rivalry. Julia, now retired from Ohio State. Thank you so much for listening. That very well could have been it. I'd have to go and look and see exactly. I feel like it was the following year. I feel like it was more like 96. In my mind's eye, I was in college when it happened, was when that was. But yeah, they always opened their tours in Missoula at Washington Grizzly Stadium, and it was awesome. to be able to do that. And it was very cool that they did that for Ament, who was one of the founding guys in the band and from Big Sandy. Mr. Finebaum in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
For more than 25 years, Brothers Roofing and Construction has been serving Central Ohio with dependable roofing, siding, and exterior repairs. We do the job right the first time. So if quality matters to you, visit brothersroofingconstruction.com.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Matty Ice here. April showers bring May flowers and incredible savings at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Spring into a brand new 26 Chevy Silverado 1500 and save up to $13,000 off MSRP. Plus, you can get rates as low as 1.9% with approved credit. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. We're talking serious power, serious capability, and a seriously low price. You can find them just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion or visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
We'll recall last week during our visit with Mr. Finebaum that he recanted a story of signing a check at Augusta National, Arnold Palmer, after having a nice little lunch. Then he promised to tell us about the opportunity of which he was offered to play Augusta and said no. And so, sir, before we get to all the college football and revisiting the Civil War, let's start there. Why did you turn it down?
Okay, Bo, I just gotten married and didn't have a lot of money. I got a call from an attorney who represented Charles Barkley. And Barkley and I had known each other since high school. And he said, Charles got invited to Augusta for a special deal but can't go. And he offered it to me and said, if you want to take Paul, go ahead. And the deal was at the end of the season, which is in late May, you don't golf at Augusta in the summertime because of the heat. They have a special day on the final, the day after the course officially closes. The caddies all get to invite 2 people that they've met and make money off of it. It was like $750 a person, where you could play from 7 in the morning until sundown, which consists basically of 36 holes, par 3 course if you want to get over there during lunch. And I ran it by my brand new wife, who amazingly, after this story, I am still married to. And she said, between, driving over there and a night in a hotel, it's going to cost $1,000 to $1,200. And I just think it's a really poor use of money. That was 36 years ago. I'm still married, but I've yet to swing a golf club at Augusta National. Now, can you imagine? I mean, $750 to play all day at Augusta.
Do they still do that, Paul?
I don't know. They may have discontinued it, but it was and I talked. The attorney called me. He got back and he said, and I said, well, My wife said, you have to bring your own water. I mean, I said, because, I'd played at clubs on Monday. You may have, with your friends. And he said it was the greatest day of my life. They had boxed lunches. They had water on the course. We played the par 3. It was just ridiculously amazing. And so anyway, that's my story.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm not making light. At the time, $750 was a lot of money, but you and I both know what a lot of people would spend for a day at Augusta.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that number would be. And 36 years ago, it was a ton of money. I mean, and we all kind of found our way in this business. And you know how that the paychecks aren't that big at the beginning of all of these things. So, yes, that's incredible because I can't imagine that conversation. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is spectacular. Speaking of sharing, and I'm sure you did a great deal of conversation about this in the last 24 hours or so on your show, Arch Manning really opened up. Chris Lowe, who I know you've had on your show a lot, talked with Arch, and we kind of got a little different tone from him. They've famously been incredibly guarded. I know you know the family very well. I think most of us from the outside looking in would say if we were in a position like that, we would handle it very similarly to the way the Mannings have. What did you make of the comments? What did you make of this kind of approach for them and for Arch?
I think it's very smart because last year everything was pretty buttoned down, and I know you saw the game. You were there. The pressure just got to him on opening day, and I think they're trying to make it more comfortable. And I don't claim to know him that well. I've talked to him once or twice. He's a little more engaging up close than you would think watching on TV, but he's been trained for this moment, and that's the understatement of the century. And I was glad to see them do it. It was a really smart move, and I think he comes off incredibly well.
When you do, a week from today will be the first round of the NFL draft, and already you have people saying for 2027 he's going to go number 1 overall. I will acknowledge that he got a lot better as the season went along. There were times, though, in the middle of the season where he looked just completely lost. And I don't think that that's an overstatement or a biased statement from somebody coming from the North. He had some real struggle bus games in there in the middle of the season, obviously struggled here a little bit, but did come around as the season went along. What do you think he is heading into what we all presume will be his final season at Texas?
Well, I think he was done a disservice by his coaches. They put him in impossible situations, and I think when they finally patched that up, and it was patchwork, he was incredibly effective in November. But you don't win the Heisman in November when you've already thrown it away late August, September, and October. But the difference I think too this year are the pieces around him. He got the number 1 running back in the portal. Hollywood Smothers, who, by the way, had already signed with Alabama, spent a week there and said, you know what, I think I'm out of here because they're greener pastures. And by the way, it was a devastating blow to Alabama, whose lack of running game is well known by even Ohio State fans. And they got the biggest name in the portal, to Cam Coleman, who was just a can't-miss wide receiver at Auburn, who certainly went shopping around. And you add two really top-notch blue-chip players who they already have obviously a top-notch team. I think Arch is just going to be in much better shape.
And that game in week 2 is going to be one all eyes will be on. Probably be 2 top 5 teams again. I saw it looking at your colleague Mark Schlabach's way too early top 25. He's got Ohio State at the top, followed by Oregon, and then you get Georgia in there and Notre Dame and Texas in at 5. And we can all debate if those are appropriate rankings or not. We can't debate or it's not worth a debate, is that these are going to be two top 5 teams. The interesting thing for me, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, Ohio State number 1, and I know they got Sayin and Jeremiah, and it's Ohio State, so they always have a ton of talent. Probably got 51 new guys on this roster, 51 of them. This is where we are, that you are in the business of building a team. It's the first time it happened up here. We haven't had to deal with this yet where we've got that many new guys, but this is now college football at this time. And I'm thinking in a normal situation, Ohio State would never be a way too early preseason top 1 because you don't know if these guys can play or not. And they're trying to figure it out in spring, but it was just kind of one more example of this is where we are in the sport, that for however you want to slice it, parity is here, and these rosters are going to be very, very different year in and year out.
No, and people say, well, it's not like it used to be. Well, it isn't, but the Ohio States of the world still have quality players. You just don't know how they're going to play together, and that's really been one of the conversations on our show in the afternoon. I mean, the questions almost become after Georgia and Texas, who else do you like? And a lot of people are most confused by LSU, and it's the exact same reason. I mean, you know what their portal class looks like. You have no idea. And I think with Ohio State, you do know a little bit more because you have the quarterback coming back, and you can't have a more important returning player than that, especially when he's as good as Sayan is. But by the way, every time we have a conversation, which starts with the Alabama quarterback situation, I know this will not be the last time I bring this up, but I can't help but think Julian Sayan, may have already won a Heisman there, but Kalen DeBoer, didn't get his name right and didn't really seem to care whether he stayed or not.
Jeez, was that real? I hadn't heard that story.
It came out in a book called The Price by Armin Katayan and John Talty about 2 years ago, and it said that he said they had a meeting. He got it. He pronounced his name wrong. He asked him some, just perfunctory question that really ticked. Now remember, Sayan had only been there for about 5 weeks, but it was a big deal for Nick. I mean, Nick Saban had to go to California a couple of different times to recruit him. This wasn't like you just do it. You do a Zoom call and get a player from SoCal.
No, it wasn't. And we see. Did Nick, do you think, intend for Julian to be his final quarterback?
I I think so, because not to tell you anything you don't know, but when he committed and ultimately signed, it was a very big deal. And then of course he came in early, and Saban looked at his roster. He still had Ty Simpson, which I don't think he ever bought into, and he had Saban, and I don't think he was ready to go the year he did. But look at I was about to say look at the draft next week and see where the first Alabama player goes. It will probably be Caden Proctor, but it won't be that high, and then it will be Simpson. That is if you don't count Caleb Downs as one of Saban's players, or Julian Sayan next year, or a couple of other guys. So I mean, it's for an Alabama, and that's going to be another narrative that we'll have for a week from now. But I'm already reading the stories about everybody who says, well, the SEC is still number one. All you have to do is watch the draft. Well, you might not want to watch the draft next Thursday night if you want to proclaim the SEC is still number one, even in the draft.
No, yeah, probably not. By the way, and if ever it's $750 to play Augusta again, you'll be playing, correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
make that work.
I don't want to talk about the change of economic style between then and now, but yes. I will somehow go to my local bank and see if they can support me a loan.
Get a lemonade stand to make sure you can get out there, buddy. Thanks for your time as always.
A pleasure. Thank you.
There he goes, Paul Finebaum on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
A friend is someone who knows where you came from. Someone who always shows up when you need them. Someone who's there for the good times and the challenging ones. With comprehensive insurance policies backed by award-winning customer service, Shelter Insurance is committed to being there when you need us most. To find your local agent, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
The weather in Central Ohio just got better, so why shouldn't your loan rate? CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Plus, no payments for 90 days on car loans and 60 days on motorcycles, boats, and more. Go to CMEFCU.org today.
Get eco.
Hey, Jerry. Remember when we launched our $93 drain clearing offer and you invented the phrase 93 or free?
You know, I've actually written quite a few catchphrases in my career.
Oh, yeah. Aren't you the guy who wrote Bob's Your Uncle?
Yep. For my friend Steve, who has an Uncle Bob. I was as surprised as anyone when it caught on with the general public.
Get Eco.
Well, we need 93 or free to catch on. Our experts will clear your clogged household drain for just $93. If we can't, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we'll clear it again for free.
Get Eco, and Bob's your uncle, your drains are clear.
Get Eco.
But Jerry, my uncle's name is Michael.
Get Eco, and Michael's your uncle, your drains are clear.
Let's stick with 93 or free.
Yeah, good call.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats. Looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is the job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When you're listening to T-Bone and Tyvis, all the F words apply. Football, food, and fun, and fat, and furry. They both have ears. And they dress up like animals and hump things. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. A seasonal tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. It all adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Whether you love or hate winter, I think we can all agree we need some spring color to brighten up our lives after this winter. For 86 years, spring color starts at Oakland Nursery. Blooming shrubs, fragrant lilacs, hydrangeas, azaleas, and rhododendrons. And don't forget Central Ohio's largest selection of beautiful roses with thousands to choose from. Hey, we've all earned it this year and are entitled to an explosion of vivacious spring color. If you haven't been to Oakland Nursery, you simply haven't been to a nursery.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. Time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Carnell Tate joined the Rich Eisen show on Wednesday and talked about Ohio State and the mantra developed here.
I ultimately chose Ohio State. I had a great relationship with Coach Hartline. He's done it at elite level, so it was only right for me to get that experience from him. He played at the highest level, so everyone was trying to do what he did, and he was just pouring all his experience down to us. Then it was my dream school. I grew up a Buckeye. I always watched them. And then ultimately, if you want to go first round as a receiver, you go to Ohio State.
So, Hartline, huh? He's the guy?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you think now that he's gone, things are going to work for Ohio State recruiting kids like yourself, Carnell?
I think it'll continue to go on this trajectory it is now. I believe it was receiver U before Hartline got there, and it ultimately will be receiver U after he leaves.
Okay.
Thing or not a thing?
Wishful thinking on Rich's part.
Okay.
By the way, Brian Hartline will join us Monday on the program, so you have that to look forward to, which is very nice. We'll ask him about Carnell and his new gig at USF. I think the proof is in what they did in this recruiting class. By the way, Chris Henry losing the black stripe as predicted right before the spring game. Bake, I think you called that exactly, didn't you?
Well, I actually said he would have a monster spring game, and then they would take it off of him right after. But
Yeah. So I guess the proof will be in the years to come if they can continue this. But I think there's enough in the brand that it's going to stay pretty close to where it is right now.
Yeah, I think this is a thing because it's a correct thing. Because Ohio State had some great receivers here before Brian Hartline. This run of receivers kind of started back with Zach Smith. And I know a lot of us want to forget that because it was the end of the Urban tenure and all of that. But it also kicked us into Ryan Day and Brian Hartline. And it's just really impressive what Ohio State has done. And I think as long as Ryan Day is here and Ohio State is going to continue to get the quarterbacks, the type of quarterbacks that they're going to get, and have guys like Arthur Smith and Chip Kelly who have experience in the league helping with the offense, I think they're going to continue to get quality wide receivers. Now, as we've talked about, you're not going to have 6 5-stars in your receiver room anymore because it's just not good roster management and roster construction, but you're still going to get the Jeremiah Smiths, the Chris Henry Jr.'s. You're going to find the Brock Boyds, the Diamonds in the Rough. You're going to continue to keep it rolling.
I'm just seeing this from the Columbus Blue Jackets. A media availability today with Don Waddell and Rick Bonis. That'll be at Nationwide at 2 o'clock. The Blue Jackets head coach was on with T-Bone and Tyvis this morning, and he expressed his desire to return to Columbus next season and that they would get it kind of worked out, the future, the direction of the franchise sometime this week. Thing or not a thing?
I'll tell you, it'd be a pretty damn big thing that they're doing a press conference together. I guess that could be one thing or the other. I'll say this. And we'll have Porty on at 11:30 and he'll know. I don't think there's going to be ambiguity. If you're having a press conference together, it's going to be Rick's coming back or Rick's not going to coach anymore, and this has been a great rental for us, and we're appreciative of what he did. He's a great friend and a great man in hockey. So to me, it's one or the other. I don't think you're going to have a press conference like where today with a joint press conference, we're not sure what we're going to do yet. I think you've probably made a decision one way or the other.
So I can say that this was planned yesterday, that they were going to have a press conference and media availability with these two sometime today. Aaron Portzline tweeted this about an hour ago. CBJ will hold a season-ending press availability today for Don Waddell and Coach Rick Bonis. Won't be a surprise if a bonus contract extension is announced before the gathering. Bonis has made it clear he wants to stay and he wants to change the culture in Columbus. I don't know. I don't know if this means that there's going to be an announcement on this today, but I do think these are good signs.
If you want Rick Bonis back, I think they're good signs, yeah.
In an interview
most people do.
With USA Today, former Notre Dame and LSU head coach Brian Kelly defended his tenure at Baton Rouge. Quote, I guess you do have to start with what is winning enough games. We were 34-14, 22-3 at home when I was fired. We had 2 10-win seasons, won an SEC divisional championship, had the number 1 offense in college football, a Heisman Trophy winner. When you look at what is winning and what keeps you employed, other people make those decisions, but it starts with what is defined as winning, and unfortunately it wasn't defined as winning, as enough winning leading into being fired, end quote. While the numbers Kelly cites are correct, a little bit cherry-picked, Tigers were only 19-10 in SEC play under Kelly. They were off to a 2-3 start in 2025 before he got canned. They never made the college football playoff in his tenure. Thing or not a thing?
I mean, it's PR 101, kind of the way he spun it. And when you just read his quote, you say, gosh, they fired a guy who did those type of things while giving him that type of contract. There's one other part of this. Their little brother got to the playoff with the coach they wanted. So they hired him. I mean, the Ole Miss success is a big part of this. Like, they don't view Ole Miss as a rival. Ole Miss views them as a rival. But all of a sudden, Ole Miss is better than LSU. We can't have that. And they missed out on opportunities with talent to play in the playoffs. So, I mean, he got all his money. No one's going to cry for him at all. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's not a thing in that I think most people would agree that if you had the money for it, it was justifiable to fire Brian Kelly.
I think this is a thing and not a thing all in one, because I think we can all agree that the fit with Brian Kelly and Baton Rouge was weird from the start. And the beginning press conference was weird, and maybe things weren't going in the right direction. We're not there every day, so we don't see everything like we do with Ohio State, and maybe there were just things that people down there could tell weren't right, and this wasn't going to work. This is also a thing, though, in the fact that we fire people too soon sometimes, and we give up on people too soon. And I don't know if Brian Kelly is or ever has been in my top 10 of college football coaches, but he's still a good college football coach, and he's going to go somewhere. Maybe not this year, but he'll go somewhere in a year or two, and he will get that program in the right direction. And is he ever going to win a national championship? I don't know. Probably not. But the guy can coach football.
Yes, he can. Yeah.
Disney-owned Fubo has entered the fray for 13 NBA teams previously tied to Main Street Sports Group, who was the owner of FanDuel-branded regional sports networks. According to a report by the Sports Business Journal, Fubo is pitching the 13 NBA teams, currently looking for a local broadcast solution for next season on a, quote, hybrid direct-to-distributor and direct-to-consumer model. It would provide teams rights fees in the vicinity of $10 million per year or slightly below. The 11th hour offers would see teams stream games directly on Fubo's app, while the Disney-owned distributor simultaneously negotiates deals with cable distributors to keep games on linear television. Thing or not a thing?
Can you read me that money number again?
So the hybrid direct-to-distributor and direct-to-consumer model would provide teams rights fees in the vicinity of $10 million or slightly below.
Do you know what the Lakers get in their television package?
Slightly higher.
$200 million.
That's a season?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they get. So you tell, I mean, how is this ever? You're just going to, you're just lucky if you're a Cavaliers fan that you have Dan Gilbert, who doesn't need money and doesn't seem to care about these things, because I'm guessing they would be one of the teams that would be impacted by this. Finances aside, the most critical thing that league needs to do, and the NHL's in the same spot, you've got to make sure that the people in your markets can watch your games. Job one. Whether that's on apps, over the air, I'd put everything over the air if you could. Make it so it's easy to watch. Don't make it hard. You make it hard, and people will say, yeah, we're good. We live in an on-demand society now. I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it. Be available. Job one.
So this is a thing because the game's got to go somewhere. They've got to do something, and Fubo is trying to give them an opportunity. It's also saying, hey, these games will be on the app while you guys try to continue to work out a rights fee with a local broadcast, and we'll let them use what we're producing here for you. This is also a thing to me because I didn't know Fubo was owned by Disney.
No, I didn't.
So
either.
why isn't ESPN and ESPN Unlimited? Why aren't they just jumping on this and eating up all of the rights to the NBA and offering it to these teams and say, hey, if you find a local broadcast partner, we will provide that. But ESPN Unlimited, $29.99 a month. You can watch all the games.
Oh, all of those things are coming. And I know we're up against it. Did you guys see how you're going to have to watch the Cavs if you want to watch them in the playoffs?
Prime Video, baby.
Prime and Peacock, starting Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I saw
brutal.
Prime Video for that Saturday game.
Yeah.
I think most people have Prime just because of the shipping. So here's playoff basketball as well as part of your $14.99.
Speaking of the Cavs, we'll have Tim Alcorn on tomorrow, the radio voice.
We will. So
9:45.
That'll be a lot to look forward to. They host the Raptors in their first round series. A final hour of the program on a Thursday up next. The Buckeyes are number one. Do they deserve to be? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you'd want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Aviators football returns Friday, April 17th, 8 p.m. kickoff. The first 5,000 fans through the gates take home a free team flag. Grab your tickets now at UFLaviators.com. United we fly.
Columbus drivers, Ford is making it easy to drive home happy with special financing that works for all credit situations. At Capital Ford of Columbus, save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford Escapes in stock. No matter your credit, Capital Ford of Columbus has programs to get you approved fast and into any new or used Ford in stock. Don't miss out. These incredible offers end April 30th. Head to Capital Ford of Columbus at 1090 South Hamilton Road today or get pre-approved at capitalfordofcolumbus.com.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked a 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle-of-the-night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. morning, I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets' playoff hopes were dashed on Monday, and their season officially ended on Tuesday. Rick Bonis told T-Bone and Tyvis this morning he'd like to return as Jackets head coach next season. Bonis and general manager Don Waddell will hold a press conference today at 2 o'clock to likely discuss the future of the franchise. Also today in the Arena District, the Columbus Clippers host the Iowa Cubs. First pitch there is 12:15. At 12:40 in Cincinnati, the Reds host the Giants, looking for the series sweep. Red Legs are 11-7 on the season. That's tied with the Pirates for the top spot in the NL Central. As for the Guardians, Cleveland begins a 4-game homestand with the Orioles at 6:10. In college football, it's spring game Saturday for Ohio State. Buckeyes will kick things off at noon. Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey will be on the Fan tonight for a special spring game preview show. This update sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, together to serve you better. Scheduled today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news where it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Thursday edition of the program. Coming up in 27 minutes from now, Aaron Portzline of The Athletic as we get set for the big press conference at Nationwide with Rick Bonis and Don Waddell. So that'll be this afternoon. So we'll have Porty with a little preview of that coming up in 27 minutes and some reflection on some of the things with the Jackets and the way that the season did end. This yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, Mark Schlabach, ESPN, put out his way too early spring top 25. I referenced this when we had Paul Finebaum on in the previous hour. Buckeyes sitting there at number 1. Previously had Ohio State 6 in his rankings. Goes through the players who were brought in. Otherwise, has this to say about the Buckeyes for 26. With quarterback Julian Sand, tailback Bo Jackson, all-world receiver Jeremiah Smith returning, the Buckeyes should be back in the national championship hunt. Ohio State's offense is going to be difficult to stop, especially if its offensive line improves. Coach Ryan Day hired former NFL head coach and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith to replace offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. That recipe worked on defense as former defensive coordinator Matt Patricia has turned OSU's unit into one of the best in the sport. Ohio State will have to navigate one of the most demanding schedules in the FBS, including games at Texas, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, and USC. Not sure why Nebraska gets to be in that group with the others, but nevertheless, they are. Mentioned this with Paul. This is not the type of team that we would typically say would be a preseason number 1 team in the country. Yes, we have a returning Heisman finalist quarterback. We have probably the best player in the sport in Jeremiah Smith. Bo Jackson's a really nice player. There are 51 new faces on this roster. The offense returns mostly intact, offensive line mostly intact. You know where the additions are there. But defensively, it's kind of a reset. It's a little bit of a reset when you think about what this team is going to look like defensively. But what it speaks to is, I believe, how the sport has evened out from a talent standpoint. Depth of talent, I should say. A depth of talent standpoint. Guys who used to sit here, heck, 2 of the receivers, one of them is definitely going to start at Notre Dame. They were here. And in the old days, those guys would wait their turn, and then they would get an opportunity to go. In this iteration of college football, they're now at Notre Dame. And that exact story has repeated around the sport. Guys who played or played sparingly at other places are now playing somewhere else. In the old days, you develop them and eventually they would hit. If you take a look at this top 5, he's got Ohio State 1, he's got Oregon number 2. At number 3, he has Georgia. At number 4, he has Notre Dame. At number 5, he has Texas. The rest of the top 10. Indiana is at 6. It's a reset at Indiana. It's a reset. I'm not going to doubt him. I'm done doing that. Learned my lesson. I've Googled him. But Josh Hoover coming in from TCU, Nick Marsh from Michigan State, these are new faces. Miami at number 7. Texas Tech, they're going nowhere, guys, at number 8. Ole Miss at number 9 because Trinidad Chambliss come back. Texas A&M at number 10. This talent has been spread out dramatically around the sport. This is the most uncertain top 5 that we've had in a long time. And this is our first experience with it. We haven't done this before. Ohio State's done this sparingly. Reese, you and I were doing the show. I remember this vividly. The first year that Coach Prime got to Colorado, he said, holy cow, he's got 50 new people on that roster. How do you build a team like that? Well, it came here a couple years later.
Yeah, if you'd have told me that when he's talking about bringing new luggage in, and then you said in a couple seasons, not too long from now, Ohio State will be doing something similar. I'd have been, you're crazy. They're operating on two completely different levels. There's no need for Ohio State, I didn't think ever, to bring in this kind of portal additions. But when you have the portal attrition that they had, that I do think that's the biggest thing, that I didn't see the portal attrition coming and hitting the top programs like the way it has. Because I thought certain programs would be immune from that sort of thing. And now nobody's immune from it at all. Everybody's got so much roster turnover, every single team, that you can't year to year properly predict how this thing's going to go. If you look at the top 10 now, like, who knows if you got 12 teams that make the college football playoff, but are they all locks to make it? You would think just because you don't know who else is. You go past the top 10, you're like, they could be good, maybe. Like LSU, BYU, I have no idea. Oklahoma, maybe. There's Penn State at 15. Are you sure?
Reese, to your point, I always thought that it was going to hit Ohio State in the bigger programs because there's just only so much money to go around. I don't know if I thought it was going to hit Ohio State this fast. And the fact that you would lose Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter this year, when you think, well, Carnell Tate's leaving, their spot's up for grabs. And I know Brandon Ennis is here and he was a captain, but on-field production-wise, you would think those guys as 5-stars could be able to overtake him possibly with a healthy season. So I don't think I thought it would hit Ohio State this fast. I did think it was coming. And I don't know if it's the success of the older rosters with Michigan and Ohio State and Indiana back-to-back that made it so fast. I don't know what it was, but I didn't expect it to be this quick.
No, I didn't either. And I didn't expect it to have this scope. I mean, I thought we would be at a place where we would have, you're going to 15 to 20. I thought that would be the reg. I really did. I didn't think we'd be in a situation where even the best programs in the country that don't have coaching changes have a roster turnover where two-thirds of the roster is flipped. I mean, I did not have that. I assumed at the top of the sport it would get a little bit worse or better, depending on your perspective, than it used to be. I didn't think you'd be in a situation where you took on, 5 or 6 guys and it was Caleb Downs and Julian Sand and that level of player. I didn't think that. But I didn't think we'd be here either. I didn't think we'd be in a spot where you're talking 51 new guys. I mean, this spring game that's going to take place in 2 days, we're going to be seeing names on the back of helmets. I know Ryan has done that. Like, he's got their names on the back of the helmets. He's learning them too. They all are. How could you not? It's like the first day of youth football practice. I don't know who these guys are. You got to get to know them. And I've used the term before. These are shotgun marriages. They are. It's different. You don't have 2 years to get to know somebody. In fact, from an Ohio State perspective, the guys that they spent 2 years knowing in the wide receiver room are going to suit up for Notre Dame. Like, Ohio State knows Quincy Porter. They know Mylan Graham. They know who they are. They vetted him. They recruited him out of high school. They got him here. They didn't see the field soon enough, so they're gone. So they're going to go play at Notre Dame. Maybe it was a monetary thing. Who knows? Can't keep everybody. That's the new culture that we live in. But 51 new.
You talk about like the shotgunness of all of it, where it happened so fast. You wonder, okay, they've got spring, they've got the fall camp, but is that going to be enough time for this Ohio State offense to, I hope, move away from what it did last year, where it only had a handful of wide receivers get meaningful catches? And the guys, obviously, one's the alpha of the sport in Jeremiah Smith, but it was Jeremiah and it was Carnell. Some Brandon, but this year it's like there are more guys that you would like to hope showcase themselves at a point where you're not starting a guy. Nothing against David Adolph, but the fact that he was starting and had some meaningful reps at the end of the season was alarming to me, to say the least.
Bo, it's true. 51 is true. But are we putting too much emphasis on that because 29 or 30 of them are incoming freshmen?
I don't think so, because to me it talks to what Reese just talked about, which is the depth. What we saw last year when Jeremiah and Carnell was out, Now, what was going on behind the scenes, what led to that, who knows? But yes, it's a big number. A big number of those are first-year players. But again, Ohio State got stuck a little bit. I don't think that if you hooked them up to lie detector, I don't think they'd want 29 freshmen.
Like anybody would.
Never. You'll never take 29 freshmen again. You're going to take 18, as I've been saying. I think if they could have that back, they want all those guys, of course. But would you take 29 first-year guys? That's what I'm talking about with that depth of talent or lack thereof that is hitting these rosters. You can't stockpile 4 and 5 stars anymore and ask them to bide their time. That era of college football is over, and it's something Ohio State adjusted to, and we're going to have to get used to it going forward because this is kind of how this is going to go from here on out. All right, coming up next, we revisit the Blue Jackets, the end of it. Aaron Portzline in about 17 minutes. Some players and some pushback on some of the comments. Where does this franchise go? Do you want Rick Bonis back? We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Pelotonia has proven there are no limits to community impact. We've raised more than $339 million for innovative cancer research at the James at Ohio State. Now, new routes let anyone be part of Ride Weekend. Mountain biking, trail running, and hiking join Gravel Day. And Pelotonia Kids welcomes our youngest riders because there's only one finish line that matters: ending cancer. Register today.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Parents, are your teens good with money?
No.
Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Ready to make it rain on the court for a great cause? It's the 3v3 Hoops Tournament at Ohio State University RPAC. Saturday, May 2nd from 12 to 4. Hosted by NBA legend Kenny Anderson. Grab your 3 and let's see who the best trio in Columbus. For your shot at a share of $10,000 in cash. Register now at classicforcolumbus.com. That's classicforcolumbus.com.
Presented by the Franklin County Board of Commissioners, Office of Economic Engagement and Community Development, and America 250 Ohio.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, what are we wearing?
Lie detectors. Anytime a lie is detected, we get a little shock.
All right, let's try them. So, Pella was rated by homeowners as the leading window brand here in Columbus.
Nothing? Okay. Well, our windows can change the look of your home. Ow. This thing sometimes shocks you when you tell the truth. Ouch. It's okay. I'm having fun. Ow.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Spring into savings at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, drive your new Hyundai with payments as low as $94 per month for a 2-year lease. Get spring lease savings on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit. Payment on 26 Elantra SE, $39.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year and $430.
Think you know Buckeye football? These two say, hold my beer. The Beat with Austin and Byrne.
Sponsored by The Waterworks.
Daily on The Fan's YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Chances of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy and warm with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the 50s, and then for Friday, another mostly sunny day with highs in the low 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here at the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Bo could quit today and become the school drop-off line coordinator. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Had a good day today. No waivers. Pulled all the way around. God bless her. Fantastic effort.
Bo, in 3 things,
yeah,
I have a zipper merge story.
It's a good tease. Good job out of you.
Okay.
Look at his face.
I'll wait. I'll just wait.
The concern.
I want to make sure I have enough time. I just want to make sure I have enough time. So I'll make sure that we have enough time because I feel like there could be some things that I need to say on that. Saturday's a spring game. The Fan has you covered. Join us Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. Pelotonia Fan Tailgate Show live from FanFest. AR, Tim May, Dave Biddle. Get you ready for kickoff. It's a Pelotonia spring game fan tailgate show. Join the community passionate about ending cancer. Pelotonia.org and presented by Key Bank. For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors. A lot of conversation. We do know now that a press conference is going to happen at Nationwide at 2 o'clock. Rick Bonis will be there. Don Waddell will be there. It is a joint press conference. As Bake pointed out, this was scheduled beforehand, but a lot has happened here in the last 48 hours or so. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Played some of the stuff from Bones yesterday in terms of the conversation between him and Porty that went a little bit viral, more than a little bit viral in the NFL world. And then we played a little bit from Rick on T-Bone and Tyvus from this morning. One of the things the guys did press him on is if he wished he had said it sooner. Here's Rick Bonis on that.
Well, we had our meetings over the last couple of weeks. I mean, it wasn't not when it came to a head, but it's not like I wasn't addressing the issues going once we started to slide a little bit. The issues were being addressed, trust me, on a daily basis, post-game analysis with the players in the practice of the meeting. So everything was being addressed. We were trying to fix everything. We weren't just accepting the slide and saying, okay, it's not going our way. We did have a couple of games that we should have won, but we didn't because we didn't score. We played well enough to get a couple of points out of that slide, which probably could have made the difference. But no, as once you see these, you lose a game or you lose a couple of games, those things have to be addressed immediately in the room, and they were. And we had a video session with talks to the players. I know the players had their own meeting one night, so everyone was a little frustrated with what was going on. But again, during that whole last couple of weeks, we felt we were right on top of what needed to be addressed on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, when we said that, if whatever he said post-game of the final game, he had said a version of that and maybe one just as colorful to the team in the room.
I mean, even leading into their final games, it was a question that we had asked multiple times. How many more levers can he pull?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it became a point where after even it was the Detroit game, I think, where you go, Bonis has done all he can. Mm-hmm. He's mixed up the lines. The injuries were forcing him to play the guys he has. Now, he took ice time away from certain players. He added more ice time to others, but you got down to it. You just didn't have any more that he could actually do, so it was all up to the players. So from the standpoint of where, he has his comments after the Washington game on Tuesday, I go, yeah, this is a guy that's as exasperated as a hockey coach has ever been, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I understand all of that, and I get you can have meetings, and there can be player meetings, and I just feel like at the end there, that's too late. after the last game, you doing that, it's too late. That should have been
I don't think
done,
it was planned, Bake.
And maybe it wasn't, but
I really don't. I think that and we'll let Porty on. I really think it was the right reporter at the right time or wrong time, depending on your view of it. I don't think he went in there with the intent of that. In fact, at the first question, he even takes like a breath. And then he's just said, oh, the hell with it.
I mean, and there's no doubt the emotion were there. The man had tears in his eyes, and there were things crashing and breaking in that locker room that we heard. That, you know, it was different. But if you and I don't know, maybe Rick Bonis had talked to this team and said, you know what? I don't think you guys care enough. I don't think you hate losing enough. Maybe that was said. I don't know. But if it wasn't said, it should have been said before then. If those were the feelings and those were the emotions, and we all know when emotions are high, maybe it's not the best time to speak, but that's when you're telling the honest-to-God truth, what you feel.
Yeah.
And if that's what he felt, that needed to be said before this team was eliminated from the playoffs. And if it was, good on him.
I bet it was.
I can't imagine
not in those words, but I'm guessing some version of it probably was.
But Bo, they're professionals, right?
It needs to be that version, though. It can't be another version.
It could have been I'm sure that tone was said.
Maybe not, but those words needed to be said.
I'm sure it was in some version of it. I bet that it was. And in fact, the reason, I'm so confident of that, Bake, is because when you listen to players talk about this was from, I just saw this. First Ohio Battery had this. Damon Severson on Bonus. He's the best coach I've personally ever had. When asked why, you can tell he cares. You can tell he's a good human. The communication is awesome. I'm a big fan of his. I'd be ecstatic if he was back. You don't say that and even question his, and even, make a big deal about his communication skills if what he said publicly wasn't said in the room. I mean, you just don't. And Zach was on with AR and Maddie and talked about the no drama between Bones and the players. Have a listen.
I think the main thing is, we all know that, Bones cares deeply about our group, cares deeply about the guys. He wants the best for us. He's a great hockey coach, and we love playing for him. And that's the first thing I want to start off with, too, is, we love Bones. And it was phenomenal playing for him this year. I'm not sure if he'll be back or not next year. But, as a group, we really enjoyed what he brought to our team and how much he helped us. And there's no drama or riff there. Obviously, it sucks, reading that. I had a conversation with him on it today on how I felt about it, and I'll keep that between us. But this is all we care about, I mean, outside of our families and health and all that, this is it, right? I've been here for 10 years, and I care about the Blue Jackets more than anyone, more maybe besides Booner, who's been here 3 years longer than me.
Charlie Coyle was also asked about Bones' comments. Here was Charlie's response.
Very passionate. You want to play for a guy like that. Was a little bit warranted. Yeah, of course it was. He's a guy who I've loved playing for, still love playing for. And he cares so much. You could tell in the way he talked and spoke. And yeah, was he emotional? Of course he was. But we're all disappointed. We all feel some of those emotions and the way he was feeling, the way he showed. But at the end of the day, I just saw a guy who cares so much and wants to better this team and better everything around it. So I can't really complain with that.
This from Pierre LeBrun via Aaron Portzline. Hearing Rick Bonis has agreed to an extension to stay on as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Should be made official at 2 o'clock. I believe we had that.
Here's the difference to me between Charlie Coyle and everybody else on that team, and that I heard. And I haven't heard all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Coyle didn't try to make any excuses. He didn't try to justify the comments. He said, yeah, it's warranted.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else said, yeah, we want to win every game, this and that, he was emotional. I'm not sure it really was supposed to come across that way. I think it was supposed to come across that way. And if you're not picking up on the message, maybe you're part of the problem.
Based on the reporting that's being done right now, if you're not picking on the message, you might not be here.
Good.
That's what I would say. I would say that resonated, and
Z's the only one I heard say anything about hating losing. Everybody else was, we want to win. We try to win every game.
I'm almost pushing, I want to push back against that. You don't need to say it. You shouldn't need to say anything at all, really, because you should see how the games are going. You should see how you're practicing. All of this should be seen. All of your actions are showing that it just wasn't good enough. And despite, I keep going back to the chances that you were given in games where you didn't even have to win. You just had to force overtime because all the teams around you were just letting you hang around and you didn't take advantage of it. And I go to all of the comments by everybody and I go, all right, well, you can say whatever, but what I saw was pathetic. I mean, that was an all-time franchise faceplant.
It's a nuanced conversation, guys, because if you were to say to me before the season, the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to be a 92-point team, I would have said that's a win.
They're in the playoffs.
I would have said that's a win. They're chasing the 8, which is what I always thought they were. You can go back and listen to our shows from before the season. I said this is a chasing the 8 team. I did not think this was a team that would win the Metro. I did not think this was a team that was going to be, not a wild card team, in or out, up until it's exactly how it played out. I think in a way they are exactly who we thought they were. It's just that they built so much goodwill and it all crumbled at the end, and that's part of it. But I think this is kind of who they are.
On January 11th, if you would have said that, it's a major win.
Yes. Yeah. That doesn't change the big picture failure.
Correct.
That's why this is such a nuanced conversation. One we'll have with Porty in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. April's the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. The more you upgrade, the more you save. Plus 24 months with no payments and no interest. And if you need some more, how about a $500 bonus off your home improvement project? Schedule your free estimate today. Call 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located at Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
With all that can go wrong at your home, it's enough to make you want to say, oh, brother. With Brothers Roofing and Construction, one call covers it all. Roofing, siding, rotting decks, we cover it all. So visit us online at brothersroofingconstruction.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get some perspective from a guy who knows. He's Aaron Portzline. He's a great friend of the program. He works at The Athletic and is all over all of this. And I mentioned this yesterday, buddy, that this is why you need to have excellent beat people and people who cover teams day in and day out because of the job you did and the back and forth that you had with Rick, because I think you saw all the passion and all of it. And now I'm seeing reporting, and you're involved in this reporting. Do we have an extension on our hands? Is he coming back?
Yes. He is coming back. Don't know the term, but he is coming back for at least another year. And I would guess it's going to be short term and with the possibility of growing, but he is definitely coming back.
Do you think that he was coming back before the exchange Tuesday?
I do. Yes. I think And I don't think this was his motivation, but I think he made it pretty hard on them to not. I know they wanted him back anyway, so he didn't talk anybody into anything. But could you imagine, as impassioned as the fan base, as much as the fan base needed to hear that, to then have the guy shown the door, people might have rioted on Nationwide Boulevard. I think so. I think the mutual respect was there, and I think everyone is on board with them changing culture.
Okay, so there's some layers. So first of all, one thing that I just said this in the previous segment, when you listen to the players talk about it, yeah, some of them maybe take some umbrage with we don't hate losing enough and some of the semantics of it, but to a man, all of them said we want him back.
Correct. And you know what, Bo? I like that they didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like them to be okay with the coach saying they don't care. Now, he did later in his comment, that phrase was said out of pure rage early on. As he kept talking, he lightened up a little bit, and he said, they care. They do care a couple of times. So he backpedaled on that one a little bit. But, of course, they're going to push back on them caring. Like, my God, imagine if they didn't, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is, and I'm always very reluctant to step into these things because you just don't know what's going on in there. But by golly, when a coach says it, okay, we're on. It is on now. Like, the coach has said it.
Yep.
Nobody thinks they like to lose. Nobody in the NHL says, I'm one of the guys that's okay with losing. Like, I think what's in play here is that some of the guys in that room, by the coach's opinion, don't obsessively, relentlessly hate it to hell, right? And I think that's what players who have seen other organizations, Stanley Cup level organizations, how those guys are wired and compete, recognize. When you're here, you can be the best of this group, the most impassioned of this group, and you're not up there. You may not be up there with the elites of the elites in the way that those guys are driven. So I have no problem with them pushing back. To me, a lot of it confirmed what Bonis said. But, of course, they feel like they care. Of course they care. Of course they want to win, and they feel as though they hate to lose badly enough. But I think Bonis's idea is that needs to be driven up ever higher.
Porty, how do you change the culture? How do you do that?
I think you do it by not letting little things slide. And I think his regret, it would have seemed really out of line if they had gone 23-4 or whatever the crazy run was, if after 2 losses he would have blown his stack, right? People would have been, dude, get it together, 25-4. But it always works this way where, and I don't know if you remember the 16-game winning streak this team had. There were like 4 or 5 games near the end of that where you're like, boy, they really didn't deserve to win tonight.
Yep.
And there were 2 or 3 games before that started where they probably deserved to win and didn't. Things start to slide and you don't stop them. Things you feel need to be said. John Tortorella always wanted to turn the room over to the players, but I always felt like John Tortorella was the captain here, even though he didn't want to be. He was the guy that delivered the really firm, stern messages. Now I think Foligno and those guys picked it up later on, but I think Bonis tried to leave these guys to their own devices and let it correct itself. And I think there's a regret now that he didn't step in and handle things maybe more firmly and had been the bad uncle rather than the uncle everybody loves sooner in the game.
Porty, hockey's different than so many sports for so many things. There's so many little beautiful little intricacies to it. And one of them is if you put a C on a sweater, buddy, that matters. There's a lot of captains in a lot of sports, and in an A on a sweater, like there's a lot of responsibility to that. Boone's been it for a long time. There's ambiguity if he'll be back or not. Who knows? Is there somebody in this room that you would say, yeah, put a C on him? I think he'll handle it if Boone isn't back.
Well, I think the obvious choice is I think that would be the expectation by many. But I also, if Charlie Coyle comes back, I think that's a consideration, even though he's not been here nearly as long as Werenski. I think there would also maybe be part of this is not having a captain. Saying you've got enough candidates, you've got enough leaders, everybody lead. So I guess I could see that. The obvious choice to me, though, is Werenski. I think he would want it. I think he's kind of been it, frankly.
Yep.
He's been the public voice of this team now for a couple of years. The other thing I really like, and honestly, the answers yesterday I really didn't care for as much as the others or any of the others were from Fantilli and Sillinger. Nothing they said that really jumped out, but them sort of being observant rather than leading, learning from the veterans rather than stepping in and taking that role themselves. And I kind of want to just shout back at the podium, no, do it. Like, you're there now. Fantilli's been here for 3 years, Sillinger 4. Those guys are the future. The worst thing that I think happens here is people come to Columbus and they fit in to Columbus. They don't fit Columbus around them. And Fantilli is a leader. He is a prick in the best possible way. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Be that. Don't acquiesce. Don't defer. Show respect to these guys. You're supposed to. Not to the point where it affects play. Get in there. Be the leader.
So that was going to be the next one, because I look at him and I'm going, that's what he was drafted to be, right? I mean, that was kind of the deal is you want him to be those things. And you know him better than I do. So when you say that he has that in him to be that, and then how do you get that out of him? Is that Rick Bonis's number one job? Is you mentioned Sillinger, you mentioned Fantilli. How do you make sure they are reached? Because one of the things that's a massive frustration, you and I could do an hour on this, but you see like Chinnikov go to Pittsburgh and get 18 goals. You're like, what happened this year with Kent Johnson was just crazy. Voronkov not playing for a month and still having 17 goals and be one of the leading goal scorers. Like, where you can draft them, but the development seems to be kind of missing, and then the accountability with young guys. Like, how do you put that all into perspective?
Well, so let me be clear with Fantilli and Sillinger. Mine is not a complaint about their play, their passion, all of that stuff. That is all there.
Yes.
All I'm saying is I don't want them to sit back and watch guys lead. I want them to be part of that, and I feel like they should be emboldened to do that. And I think when you take the C away from the captain, if it comes to pass, I think there's a better chance this summer than there has been in years. If you do that, you create a space for all of that.
Okay.
And that's a natural, healthy thing. Right now, if you're in that room and you're a 21-year-old, Jenner's the captain. Werenski is the guy that really gives the speeches here that people need to hear. My God, that's Charlie Coyle over there. He's played 1,000 freaking games. Been to a Game 7 of the Cup Finals. I'm listening. I'm not talking. I want those guys in there talking. And I think if you take even one of those elements out of there, you create the possibility for that.
Okay. Let me ask you this. One of the things I've talked about this week is, are we, not you, but are we all too easy on them? Because one thing that I reject is this notion that it's hard to make the postseason. Half the teams make it. Stop it. It's not hard. Half the team. I don't want to hear about how hard it is to make the playoffs. Stop it. Okay. And I do think they came along at a perfect time in a perfect market. A city that was booming. They were the first of the big four in town, and the crowds have been incredible. The fan base has been incredible. And I'm wondering if we're all too easy, but it's a nuanced conversation, because if you would have told me before the year that this was a 92-point team, I would have said that's a success. And they're probably what I thought they were going to be, which was chasing the 8, which is what they were. So how do you put this season into perspective?
Well, I actually poked around a little bit on that yesterday, and there's only so many guys in the room that really have a perspective that is meaningful. Guys who have played elsewhere, guys who have played in Canada. It's not going to be here as it is in Vancouver, Calgary. But I think for the best teams that it has to be that way. Personally, it's not the outside noise that affects you. I do think that it's easier to not be good in a market like this than it is in Toronto, than it is in Vancouver. Pick your Canadian city. But I think it's changed too. I think for a long, long time in Columbus, There was a perception of, not a perception, there were fans here that were just absolutely delighted to have the National Hockey League and a pro sports team here. Isn't this cool? Look what we have. And just their existence was enough to placate many, many, many people. I feel like that's changed now. And it's not going to be Ohio State football. I don't know that I want it to be Ohio State football, where if they don't win the cup every year, they want to fire the coach, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be that, but I think it's changing, and I think Rick Bonis struck a raw nerve with people the other night, because whenever people hear, they feel heard, they feel seen, and Bonis's words sounded like that of a fan. And it to me, it does signal change. We'll see if they pull it off, but every market is a little bit different. I think there is pressure here that people maybe don't recognize, just the professional sport pressure. But it's a pretty good spot to live and a pretty good place to be an NHL player. And maybe like I said in the thing I wrote today, it's okay if they're pissed off all summer. That's okay. And it needs to be that way.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate you.
Anytime, Bo. Thank you, man.
There he goes, Aaron Portzline, covering the Jackets at The Athletic on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We get to three things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now, in-store and online. Staples, that was easy.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
As the Buckeyes get ready to wrap up their final week of spring football, head coach Ryan Day is going into the spring game Saturday. There will be some limitations because of injuries.
No, just another. Listen, the running backs, probably won't have 3 of those guys out there. Probably not 4 of them. Turbo is probably not going to make it. Legend's probably not going to make it. So we're down running backs. We'll have to throw the ball some, which is good for the quarterbacks to get the ball out of their hand and see how they handle the environment. And then, get a chance to see the ball with the wide receivers and see what those guys do. And then pass rush and pass protection. And so it'll probably be some of that. Not that we won't run the ball, but with those guys down, you probably won't get as much of that. So, but just to see how guys respond in that environment will be the biggest thing.
This report brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Buckeye fans, game day just got hotter. Whether you're parked in the shoe lot or grilling at home, it's not a tailgate without Weber Grill's Traveler Grill. Fires fast, folds flat, fits compact, and delivers championship flavor every time. Burgers, brats, steaks, even rival fans agree. Bring the taste of victory wherever you grill. The Weber Traveler Grill. Tailgate tough. Buckeye proud. Weber Grills. Taste the tradition. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota, including the roomy, built-in-the-USA Grand Highlander. Now through May 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on any new 26 Grand Highlander. Or lease a new Grand Highlander Hybrid XLE for $459 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Aetna was there for me as I was going through a rough medical patch this year. I had peace of mind, which helped with my healing.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with the latest in online tools for easier access to healthcare. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Columbus, get a new Ford with special financing for everyone at Capital Ford of Columbus. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford Escapes in stock. We have options for all. Deals end April 30th. Visit CapitalFordofColumbus.com now.
Aviators football returns Friday, April 17th, 8 p.m. kickoff. The first 5,000 fans through the gates take home a free team flag. Grab your tickets now at UFLaviators.com. United we fly.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what is the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, what is the hardest game on the Buckeyes' 2026 football schedule? Your four options are Texas, Indiana, Oregon, or Michigan. 53% say Texas. 17% say Oregon. 17% say that team up north. Just 10% say Indiana.
We'll never respect him. I just can't. Nope. It doesn't matter. He went undefeated, national champion, Heisman quarterback, number one pick in the draft. Yeah, so what? You're still Indiana.
Bet you won't do it again.
How did ours end up? We had one as well that you guys put up in terms of the weather. Do we just know more, or has it always been this bad? My hunch is just know more is probably the answer.
So, yeah, this was at the top of the show. And anything you missed in today's broadcast, wherever it is you do your podcasting, so long as you give us a 5-star review, you can listen back to it on the podcast. But at WBNS Radio on YouTube, you had asked at the top of the program, hey, guys, are we with the extreme extreme spring weather? Has it gotten worse, or are we just more aware of it? 65% say we're more aware.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, time for three things on a Thursday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Number one for me with the absolutely brutal weather last night that knocked our electricity out for about 10 hours or so, something like that. One of the unintended consequences of this was Buddy Garrity lost his mind. Not in the sense that he was nervous about the weather or the thunder or the lightning or anything like that. To this point in his life, that hasn't bugged him at all. What I think he really struggled with was like, Dad, it's not time to go to bed yet. Why are the lights off? Like, he just kept walking around, like, not knowing what to do with himself because it was pitch dark in the basement where he spends his nights. It was pure comedy. He was completely, he just kept walking around. I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to go to sleep. You're fine. You got plenty of time. But he's got his own clock, too.
First thing for me, so, yeah, the last 2 days on holiday. I'm going to just start referring to vacations or PTO as holiday. But on Tuesday, got to sit in on the wonderful PhD defense from my girlfriend, who is now Dr. Arbia Lopez.
Jeez.
She's the hardest working woman that I know, and it was wonderful to have these last 2 days to celebrate her. Yeah, her PhD is in chemistry from The Ohio State University. So it was also cool to just spend some time on campus on Tuesday.
Let me get this straight. Because she's a classically trained chef, too. And now she's a doctor?
Yep. It's pretty great.
Pretty good job at you.
Don't know how I landed her, but yeah.
Good job at you.
Proud of you, baby.
Bo, no longer the richest guy on this show.
Wow. Have to get another job.
Get in the pool, baby. I hope. I'm going to keep trying that pitch. Come on, doctor.
First thing for me, Bo, you've talked about the weather and the weather warming up and it being crazy. And it sure seems like this is year-round now, but ODOT has announced that there are over 1,000 road construction projects that are happening in our wonderful state of Ohio coming up in 2026, worth around $3.4 billion it will cost. And ODOT has encouraged everyone to use the zipper merge at the point where the lane ends. They said there is it eases congestion and backup by 40%. It also reduces the amount of traffic by at least a third of a mile. So don't get mad at that person that is going up the lane that nobody is in when there is a lane ending for construction. If everybody zipper merges, goes one, you go, then you go, then you go, then you go, construction will be a little easier this summer.
I'm just going to say this very plainly and very clearly. If you are a lane cop, and I'm not talking about someone who is of highway patrol or in law enforcement. I'm saying if you decide on your own that you are a vigilante of lane police and you are keeping people out of a lane that is open, you're the problem. Use a lane that is open until it is not, and then merge at the end. You go, I go, you go, I go. It is so damn simple, and we have people who cannot do it. I've been behind semi-trucks who will veer.
Semis do it a lot.
They do it all the time. They keep everybody out of the lane. It's like it's 2 miles before construction. Use the 2 miles. Use the 2 miles. You're the idiot, not the person using the lane. Not that I have any opinions on it.
This will be my second thing. I always think in those situations, where are the state highway patrol officers? Where's the sheriff's department?
Like, I think they're just hoping we know how to be citizens.
Not anymore. And it's with all roadways. Like, it doesn't matter the speed limit. It doesn't matter if it's a state route. It doesn't matter if it's a highway. It doesn't matter if it's an on-ramp, an off-ramp, or a neighborhood. Like, we've just got to be better at this, and we're getting worse.
We might have just found some new show opening, Bishop and Friends, Imaging. Bishop and Friends, the official zipper merge show.
That's right. Yeah.
Second thing for me, and you mentioned this, Reese, a little bit about the podcast. Go back and listen to the Aaron Portzline interview just now if you did not hear it. He said something that may have been one of the best things I've ever heard about this Columbus Blue Jackets franchise when he was talking about Adam Fantilli and Cole Sillinger. Don't fit into Columbus. Make Columbus fit you. I need more young players to do that. Just come in and say, hey, I'm here for a reason too. I'm going to do things my way as well.
Absolutely. Number 3 for me, Reese, you're unaware of this, but we're considering, we'll do a little poll here. Tomorrow on the show, should we do a segment called Did Bo's Dad Really Say This?
Oh, 100% greenlit.
Okay, so I took copious notes on the various comments he made in the 5 days he was here, including he and I driving through Amish country, because I said, well, let's spend some time together. And he goes, well, I'd really like to go up to Amish country. Okay, so I did. We drove around Amish country. There were zebras. It was nuts. But I'm willing to do it if we want to try this tomorrow. We can try it in the
we'll get some walking around music for it, too. Theme appropriate walking around music.
There we go.
Final thing for me, I want to thank Jenna and the folks at High Bank in Grandview. So after she was named Dr. Lopez for all of the work she did on her PhD in chemistry, we went over to High Bank in Grandview to celebrate. And they let us sit in the barrel room and have a proper doctorate celebration. So special thanks to everybody over there. And if you're looking to celebrate something, that is the place to do it. And it was like 80 degrees that day. So the whole thing was perfect. So thank you to Jen and the team over there.
That's awesome.
Final thing for me, don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice coming up next. They're going to have Dave Metzold come in studio at 1 o'clock to talk some of the CBJ stuff. And then at 2, they are going to have the Bones and Waddell presser live, at least some of that.
There you go. You got that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy your Thursday, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The